So, this is NORTHAG. Over 400 new units spread across 10 divisions, and a bunch of single player stuff as well, which I don't particularly care about. What I'm going to do for you today is basically I have made 10 videos, or I'm currently making 10 videos where I play every single division, and those will come out over the next 10 days. If you're a channel member, you can get them all right now as of this video being released. Or at least the vast majority of it might only be 8 out of 10, and I'll finish the rest tomorrow, something like that. But what I'm going to do is all of the deck builds at the start of every video where I play every division, all of those will be stitched together in this video. And so you can see every single unit in the game which has been added, which I know a lot of people are very interested in. So check the timestamps in the description. And there you will see the division you're looking for. I hope you have a good one. So here I am building the first of the new NORTHAG divisions, depending on which order everything comes out. This is the Dutch 4E Divisie, and this is our first new unit. It is a YPR 765 PRV. Wow, they really know how to name them in the Netherlands, but it is slow, and this is fast, so I shall be bringing this. I always bring 3 cards of supply these days, so this will be my 3rd card of supply, I guess. And then for CVs, we've got this, which is just like the Belgian one in 2nd Panzergren, and the American one, but it's got a Dutch license plate and the Imperial German flag here. So we'll get that. And then for 15 points more, you can get a 50 cal and some smoke. Infantry tab. So, MAGs, I've been saying this a lot, they now have 4 strength. So that makes them gooder. Especially, you know, because it used to be that 50 cal would have 4. So I've been trying MAGs out a lot more recently, and you can get a lot more with the veterancy. And sorry, somebody messaged me. Yeah, there's not a lot here, is there? So then there's a Dutch 50 cal. So these are like stat clones of existing material. Like this is just the British one, and then this is the American one. But they've now got some. I have a friend who looks like this, a Dutch friend, looks just like this actually. Then you've got Mareschaussee, who are Prevost, but Dutch. So military police, Dutch military police, and they come in the Nekaf, which is an Iltis. Then you've got Gemobilized, and they've got a very funny beard. Interesting. They look absolutely hilarious. I do not have a Dutch friend who looks like that. So they are reservists for 35 points, and they've got laws. Pretty decent. Why is this 25? Because it's got smoke, unlike the American one. Smoke is 5 points. Honestly, I can understand it, to tell you the truth. So you could go for that. Depends what kind of div this is trying to be. That's a bit of a weird one. I was thinking like early game mech rush, this could actually be really useful. Whereas if you want late game stuff, this is better because you're getting more momentum from your trucks. But if you're actually trying, well, you're getting money back from your trucks, but it's killing your momentum because you've got to send it back, right? Whereas this will stay and fight, and it has smoke, which is pretty useful. So let's try that. Then we've got Panzer Inf Kmg, and this is a pretty interesting squad. And then you've got Genie CMG, which is another interesting squad. Between the two of them, I like the one with more strength. Smoke can save your life, but this is cheaper as well, and it's got more strength. And the Dragon is not probably not going to be that useful, so we'll try that in the Laro, which is just looks like a rover. Then we've got Panzer Inf Law, so this is just arm rifles. This is literally just arm rifles, except they've got 1 less MG, so they are suffering a little bit there. But they get this interesting Dutch IFV, which doesn't have an ATGM, but it has what looks like a Bushmaster gun on it. The Helo range, we'll just compare it, right? We'll just compare it. So what's it even called? YPR7 something. YPR765 Pry. And then, what are they called? Bradleys. And if you compare the Ehrlichen to the Bushmaster, it's a stat clone. Yeah, it's the same. Everything's the same. It's just a Bushmaster. So, yeah, I mean, it's cheaper, right? But you don't get a Toe 2. But honestly, the Bushmaster gun is really good. So, we will be bringing that. Um, what's the difference? 5 points more for Carl Gustav. One less availability. If it wasn't one less availability, I'd go for it. Oh, actually, you only get one card of this. So you have to bring the Carl Gustav one. Okay. And a Dragon one. Yeah, man, we're rocking the IFBs today. The Dragon one, that's a Dragon 1. To be honest, that's really expensive. 55 points for a Dragon 1. Oh, I suppose Engineer's Dragon's now 50, but they're only 7 men. That's not worth it at all. 10 points more for a Dragon 1 over a Carl Gustav. No thanks, mate. One less availability. Not on my watch. That should be 50. That should be 50. You compare that to like Mech Rifles Law or something. I've got an itchy nose. I do apologise. It's a stress response. You're stressing me out. 8 men with satchels for 40 points. Yeah, don't mind if I do. And as we've established, we're going to be rushing people down with... so like maybe we should actually get these at max vet. Because we're going to... Or 2 vet. Maximum possible vet. Because this is going to be our opener, basically. And then from that... Oh, this accidentally came in the wrong transport. I was going to say, why is it a different price? And then you get Toe 2s and nothing cheaper. So, Toe 2 it is. We'll try 2. We'll see if it's worth it. Did these come in the... No. I was thinking maybe they'd come in these. Because, yeah, it would be great to just never run out of infantry, but that is a 3-point slot. So we'll see if it's a good idea. We'll see if it's a good idea. And, yeah, like this will be our opener, basically. With some tanks, hopefully. We'll get there. That is a 120mm, looks like the French one. And you can bring it in a 50 cal transport, which is actually a really good idea, because this has armor, which means that it will survive, whereas the little car will explode when the counter battery comes. This will survive a lot of counter battery, so I will be bringing it in that. Then you've got the 155s. I guess that's an American one. I'm not 100% sure. Looks a bit weird. M114. Interesting. It's only got 14k range. Or you can get a Paladin. The Dutch Paladin. It's just like all the others. Or you can get this thing. Yes, I want this thing. I want 2 of those, please. Waiter, waiter. More 203s, please. And because basically they're just better, man. I mean, you might say, well, that this you get 2 in a card and the range, but trust me, basically in this game, artillery, if it misses by a tiny little bit, it does nothing. And the lower the caliber, the worse that problem is. So the higher caliber ones can miss by a tiny bit and still actually hit. So that means that this will actually hit more than this will, because it's got a larger caliber number. So even though the HE isn't too different, it's all about that caliber. And then it comes at 1 vet, but the aim time is lower actually, which is useful. And then you put a CV next to it like this one, and there you go, Bob's your uncle. So Leopard 1 NL. Yikes. So that's like a Leopard 1A1A1 from Second Panzergren, I guess. It's not very good. So bring it at 1 vet. Then you've got the normal optics. Oh, I see, because this is actually a Toe 2 launcher. I assumed it was like... I assumed it was a big camera. Toe 2 launcher, mediocre optics. I honestly don't think you've got a choice. It's a shame, right? If it was... sorry, mediocre stealth. I don't think you've got a choice. Anyway, then you get a lot of Leopard 2s. Leopard 2A4s even. So this is... like, wow. It's the same availability, because you've always got to bring them at 1 vet, right? So Leopard 2A4B and then Leopard 2A4C. And we'll upvet them both. And Oh, I've selected the same one twice. I was like, what's the difference, man? Two more armor's the difference, and that does make a difference because 18 will survive a 30 AP missile. Most plain ATs are 30 AP. Mavericks, all those Soviet ones, they're all 30 AP. So that Leopard 2A4C will survive 30. Will survive it. But apart from that, it's not actually that different. Like a Conkers will one-shot any of these. But yeah, this is your Leopard 2 div. If you're a German fan, if you're one of these West Germans who likes to spam German tanks, you got to get NORTHAG and play as the Dutch, apparently. 75 points for this. I can't justify it, mate. I can't justify it. It's just, if I bring it with my tanks, it'd be... Nah, mate. Nah, what's in the recon tab? Nah, mate. Nah. I was hoping there'd be an ATGM thing. What's in the heat? There's no helicopters in the Netherlands. They're banned, a banned substance. Oh, they've got this. Yeah, interesting. So this is where most of my CVs are going to go, I guess. So, like, we could even get rid of this guy if we have to. And because, well, actually, this is a 3-point slot, and this will probably be a 3-point slot. Yeah, so it doesn't really make a difference. It's probably best to get the this guy. And look, if we're trying to rush somewhere with M113s and IFVs and Leopard 1s, then we should really be bringing this in that. Because then he could stick with the crowd. The car is faster. Yeah, the car's faster, whatever. The recon tab, tank tabs. Yeah, so we can even bring more Leopard 2 command tanks, I guess, but I mean, they're all 3-point slots. I'm sort of holding out for an AA tab. So this is exceptional optics. You need it for your tanks. This is very good optics. You might need it. Like, it's a very generous slots on these. I mean, obviously they cost a lot, but it's generous in terms of you can get a lot of things. This is just scouts, British scouts, but with a Dutch skin. This is British. This is the same, but with a Carl Gustav, which honestly can be very useful, and especially given that you can get them in a helicopter. And then Genie Werk. So this is good for your mechanized rush, I guess, but like, it's a good pioneer unit. Do I actually have... Yeah, because I've got Genie. And now I've got Genie Werk. We'll see if we can keep him. What's this? Ground surveillance radar. You need them, really. If you want to see anything... Although we've got exceptional optics here, you probably don't. Then this is just a recon autocannon. Whoa, actually, mate. Send it round the sides and kill everybody. Helicopter flies over, kill them. I'm bringing it. Might have to get rid of this, because you've got this, right? It's very good optics. You put that with your tanks, whatever. And you've also got the Verk, which has good optics. You put that with your tanks. Or we could get rid of the Recon Helo. AA tab. Send me back. Send me back to the previous tab. This is not a great tab. You got Bofors. Great. L70 plus. 3,000 meters range against aircraft. But it's got still... It should have 2 seconds aim time, but it looks like they forgot to change this one when they changed them all back. That has been fixed, by the way. His parting gift has been reverted. And then infantry AT aim times came down to 1.5. So that's how we solved that problem. Stingers, lots of stingers. Yeah, you're going to need them. This looks like a Gepard. It is, it's just a Gepard. Okay, so we'll get some Gepards. And we'll get just loads of stingers. Because I looked at the air tab and, yeah. So this is 3 per card, no complaining. Should really be 4 per card. I'm very surprised it's got 10... I'm very surprised it's got 10 HP. Like, what even is it? Some sort of trainer jet. Then a HE one with a not great payload, and then a rocket one. Then Then an F-16 with shotgun, so no long-range AA, same as the Belgians. We're suffering from a lack of long-range AA here. Sorry, I keep leaning forwards. I do try not to, but it's this thing, you know, it stops me from leaning back. So you need it if you don't want to die. And then a HE bomber, and then a cluster bomber. So the cluster bomber, definitely. And then, I mean, we've actually got a lot of spots spare. So the slots are very generous on this div, actually. So we could, like, we could get the rocket one. And maybe it'll be useful. I mean, I can't really see it being very useful. So between these, this has just a smaller payload, less ECM, it's slower, it's got fewer missiles. Like, these also double as ASFs. Because they've got the missiles. That's why they're so expensive despite their lethargic payload. So we'll just go for that, and then we've still got 3 points left. And then we can spend those 3 points on... you can actually get 2 cards of this, interesting, on another one of these. Or, actually, you will need the ATGMs. I mean, it's only mediocre optics, but it's got nice range, unlike like a Milan 2 or something. It's a shame you don't get 2 cards of this, but honestly, I think this div is quite strong. Yeah, loads of Leopard 2A4s. We could bring another one instead of this. We could get another Leopard 2A4, you know. But then, I mean, you know, then we would... Like, is that 3-point slot? This is literally a 40-point CV. Because then I could get this, but it's 290 points, so it's, it's a bit different, isn't it? So I think those are the Dutch, and I'll see you in game. Unless you're watching this in the Divisional build video, in which case you check the description, it'll give you timestamps to all of the builds, and it will also give you links to all the games. The games, most of them will come out slowly over the next 10 days. 1 or 2 might be members exclusive videos, but the members get them all right now. If you sign up as a channel member, you can just click that, and then you can go to the game where I use this division. Or you can wait. Today we're building the UK's 4th Armoured Division, and I apologise, Brit Bros, this one is not great. We were not fast enough to revert the changes which he who shall not be named put in before he left. So it's a rough one. I gotta tell you, it's a rough one. So we've seen this before, it's in First UK. We've seen this before, it's all over the place, under different names and stuff. It's generally the same thing. So we'll get that because it's 3 and this is only 2. Then you've got FV432 supply. I remember there was this guy called Danny, but we don't want to name people because we don't want to start any boycotts. So that's his his stage name. That's a pseudonym. It's not actually his name. It's not actually called Danny on the official Discord. And he had a massive argument with me saying that FV432 supply isn't real. And I said, this is just a ridiculous premise. Why wouldn't you, you know, you're in a war, you want to transport supplies, you would put it in it if it was there and you needed to do it. And he was like, no. Anyway, it's in the game now. Then you've got the Stolly, and then you've got the Ake Militant MK3, which is a new one, 2,000 supply. Carries a lot, you know, the Stolly doesn't carry as much as this bad boy. Everything carries 6,000 supply total, right? So this is actually 1,000 in this little thing. So I'll be bringing this. Sadly, you know, you only get 1 of each, which is really annoying. There would be more deck choice if you got 2 of each, but it seems to be true of all the British divs, actually. They all seem to suffer from this problem. Or at least mostly. So we'll get an Ake Militant. And we need a 3rd card of supply, which sadly is going to have to be the Stollies. So basically this is my frontline supply, right? And then if you're really good, you can send it back to a Hilo one, fill it up and send it forwards again, but I'm bad, so I can't do that. Saxon CV can be useful because it's got the smoke, but these point slots are very high, and you'll see that as we go through this division. So infantry tab is actually okay, but these last on the end are 3s, right? So the MAGs, they're all now 4 strength, which is interesting. Then you've got RMPs, but they don't have a military police car. If they did, this would be killer, because then you could put the car with the tanks, which we'll get to. But you've seen this before, you've seen this before, you've seen this before. You've not seen this before. So this is an FV432 Milan. It's got a Milan on it, 30 points. Sadly, it is 30 points. And you get gun groups without warriors. There's no warriors in this div. So the gun group just ain't worth it. The reason it's worth it in first UK is because it comes with a warrior, but here it's just not worth it. Assault Pioneer Leader. So this is the SCAT. They know how to name them, don't they? So this is better than the regular FV432 because it has two MMGs. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. But it's better than nothing, right? So this is your unique item on this div. So you could get the same Assault Pioneers, but they're actually coming in a slightly better transport. And then you could get Assault Pioneers called Gustav, which are just like rifles, but worse AT. There's no arm rifles, you see, so then you could get Terriers, 2 cards. These guys are decent, 40 points, no reservist trait. They've got laws. They've got one useless SMG, but then so they've basically got one less rifle. But they've got the L4A4, which is the NATO Bren, and NATO chambered Bren, basically 7.62 chambered Bren. So you will get 2 cards of Terriers, and I'll be honest, we might need 2 cards of Assault Pioneers. Like, I mean, these slot costs are so expensive, I'm starting to think that I can't afford to update my infantry. So between rifles and motorized rifles, the difference is motorized rifles are like Assault Pioneers, but with one more guy, and they don't have shock. I'd be a bigger fan of regular rifles. I mean, the availability is the same, and, one more guy, great, but the Lore 80 will swing fights. So I want that. Oh, it's a shame they don't come in the scat thing. But these do. And they're 5 points cheaper, but the Lore 80, man. The Lore 80. L6 Wombat's still terrible, don't bring it. And then you've got Milan 2s and Milan 1s, which honestly I don't think we can afford to bring. Because look at these costs here. This is crazy. This is crazy. Wild. If this was 2, I'd bring it. I don't know. We'll check the rest of the div. RT tab. You've seen all of this before, so this is in first UK, it's just an 81mm mortar. This is in first UK, it's just an 81mm mortar. Abbots have their direct fire capability now. They bring Hesh rounds in real life, so it's sensible for this to have this. And sadly, it doesn't have. I mean, it should have a HE value if it's Hesh, but whatever. This is the bad boy that you want. And then we'll bring some mortars for smoke. And I like the self-propelled one because not only does it bring a few more rounds, although not actually that many anymore. It used to be like 250, but they nerfed it. Like, you see them all here. You see them all down here. 2, 4, 6. Oh, we won't bother with that. Shout out to the 155. I mean, obviously you can get 2 of these for the price of 1 of these, but I like the self-propelled nature, and I like the fact that it actually kills things. Tank tab. So this is where it starts getting a bit weird. So this is an AVRE, but it's just got a regular gun on it, as opposed to a AVRE with the Hesh thing on it. The aim time of these, I mean, Eugen set it down to 4 seconds. So that's great news. So it's 4-second aim time now, so it's a bit more usable. And yeah, it's 90 points. Let's bring 2 of those. And, we've got some nice slots here. I'll be honest. Yeah. Then ATGM. Well, we don't have any Rover Milans, so we need to bring Milans here. We can't not do that because we need Milans. And I'm actually thinking about bringing this, even though I never do that, because even though it's got bad stealth, I need it to pad out my tank blobs and stuff. I need it to pad out my tank blob. So we'll bring this, and we'll see if I regret it, because that's 3 points there. And that's rough. That's all this, right? Ugh. So we could bring... So we've got 3 CVs, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then this is an interesting one. Chieftain Mark 6. So this is a very bad tank. Like, why is it 100 points? It's like a really bad T55. Yeah. What? Right, 1 second. 6-2. T55A. Yeah, the gun is the same. It's got more accuracy. 1 more armor. I think that allows it to survive TOW 2s. I think if you've got 12 armor, you survive a TOW 2, and if you've got 11, you don't. So that is important. But, a Resolute, 20... You'll notice that the T55 is better against infantry as well, because it's got... It's got a HMG instead of an MMG, although the HE against infantry is worse. And the accuracy is worse. I don't know, I think I would have this as 95. So, when it comes down to that, it doesn't really matter, right? Interesting div name. Who named that one? So, sadly, you only get one card of these. And the availability is worse than the... Okay. And then, okay, so Chieftain Mark 9s. These are your opener ones. I really like these in the opener. For 40 points more, you're getting 3 more pen. You're actually getting 4 more pen because of the range. And that is good. So it's good for the opener. And then Chieftain Mark 11's your workhorse for the rest of the game, I guess. Oh, it's not cheap. They ain't cheap. They ain't cheap. I need ATGM carriers to defend ground, but it looks like I'm not getting them. Because yeah, these are your workhorse, because you literally get so many of them, right? And that can be useful. So what is the point of this exactly? If I'm bringing this at 2 vet, shouldn't I be bringing this at 2 vet? Well, I don't know. This is my... What is the point of this tank? So for 40 points, I just get so much more, but I can understand spamming this. Like, just spamming it out. So I think I want it at 1 vet and this at 2 vet. Yeah, that makes sense. These, we could up vet them, but this is my IFV. Because I don't get IFVs. So this is my IFV. Recon tab. We'll get... So Ferret you've seen before. I would just never ever bring this. It should really be like 10 availability, to tell you the truth, if you want anybody to bring that. Anyway, Fox. We'll get the Fox. The Zibby, this is great for your tank. Sadly, only 1 card. And the Fox versus the Scimitar. The Scimitar is a lot cheaper. 15 points cheaper for what? And more armor. It's all about that speed in the opener, though. This is good in the opener, and then this is good later. Anyway, scouts you've seen before. They have laws and stuff. You can bring them in helicopters. You'll notice we don't have any forward deployed, and I think it's going to stay that way. I'm thinking of maybe bringing it in the Spartan, because we're clearly going to be doing some kind of mechanized rush. Mechanized early game rush. It's literally like First UK, but worse. What's the advantage of this div over First UK? You don't get warriors, and you don't get challenges. That doesn't sound like... This is your advantage, but this isn't First UK anyway, under a different name, and this isn't that good, so... Interesting. What is the point in this? It's 55 points. For the same... No, the gun is very different. I'm thinking, like, this might be very useful. Like, this is your IFV, basically. I keep looking over here. It's because my camera is here, so I can see myself. So I'm, like, talking to myself. But obviously you're here, right? So I do apologise. This is your IFV. With its 7.62s. And it's 105. And it's 35 kilometers an hour speed. Having said that, like, I feel like this doesn't really have a place in the game. I don't know. I don't want to... I can't really fit this in. These just seem a lot more useful. It's literally twice the price, though. So let's get rid of one of these and just bring one of these. And we'll up vet it once. And we'll leave this at 0 vet. Well, why? I mean, surely we'd want it at 1 vet so that when it gets hit, it doesn't get stunned. But I need as many of these as possible, so we'll leave it at 0 vet. And we'll leave this at 0 vet as well, because it's so cheap. Recon tab. Motorised scouts is where we got to. That's a good squad. Actually, it's because this is making me... This is a misnomer, right? It's kind of weird how this has 501 meters range, but okay. That's the British exceptionalism there. 1 more meter than everybody else. So, decent squad. Comes in a Saxon, which has smoke, and is very, very fast. So that's good. And... Like, I would love to bring some snipers, but... Like, this is my ground-based recon, right? I need some scimitars for later in the game. Gazelle recon rocket, but it's only got 12 rockets. Or I can get the Chancellor. What's this thing? I've seen this thing in photographs. It's nice to know they finally put it in. So this is an Exceptional Optics Lynx, and it's literally just got a big eyeball on the side of it. So yeah, these are all 3-point slots, which is very rough, so we're not going to be bringing those. And AA. So Javelin you've seen before. You can get it in the scat thing. I would bring it in the Rover if you want to get it around. The Javelin LML is still just sort of priced out of incompetency. Priced out of competency. Rapier FSA you've seen before. The Rapier FSB2 Darkfire you have not seen before. So this is the latest and greatest of British technology when it comes to AA. And it's still garbage. But it's 4 per card. And then you can get tracked rapiers for your mech push, which you're gonna need. Heli tab, Lynx Hellarm. They're 1-point slots, so I mean honestly this should be 45 points. I mean 50 points for a regular tow is just so not worth it. Air tab. So you get the Phantoms from second UK. So, sorry, we'll start at the beginning. Jaguar Rocket should really be 3 per card because it's Garbo. This Jaguar HE is better than the other Jaguar HE, but as a result is 20 points more expensive for 10 ECM, which is not worth it. So that should really be 265. Having said that, okay, so we've also got the Jaguar Cluster, which is a must-bring whenever you get it, because this is just the Tank Eviscerator. Sadly, you don't have Seed, right? You'd obviously want to send out something else ahead of it. But this is the Tank Eviscerator. Anyway, you get the Phantom F3, which you need, and then what are these? So, Phantoms with gun pods. Yeah, they bought gun pods, basically. So, like, this Phantom should have a gun pod on it, but it just doesn't, which is a shame. And then this is like the same one but with the gun pod, and that has a sky flash on it, so it's like a fighter, but it has a 10-second travel time, and that means that it's basically very difficult to use this properly, because if you're loitering it because of the 10-second travel time, then that means that you're not going to be able to use your bombs properly, because it'll take longer to resupply because it needs to resupply the fuel. So it can be rough. That is a crazy payload, and it's cheaper than this. Sure, pal. That is a crazy payload. Wow. So that is the killer of man and machine. It's got the Shake, which is the cluster, and it's got the Bake, which is that. Well, I guess Napalm would be Bake, whatever. And it's got Sky Flashes. So that could double as your fighter once you run out of Phantoms. And we only got 1 point slot left. I would have liked to have brought this one, given that, like, I mean, it's faster. It's got better air optics. It's got the same payload. It's 10 points cheaper, although it's not got the ECM. So yeah, I guess if this was 265, then this wouldn't be that useful. But it's got 5 flashes on it. Sorry, that's my alarm telling me I need to go to bed. So we're going light on the air, I guess. We're going light on the air, because you don't have Seed for it, so what's the point in buying loads of... Like, obviously you can try and kill it with this, but it's just not worth it. So you can see that the slots are kind of against you, but actually not as bad as I thought it would be. But I'm seriously getting this is just worst first UK vibes from this. Like, no forward deployment, no challenges, no, like, what, no IFVs. Like, what are you getting out of this? What are you getting? The scat thing is interesting. An extra MG on each transport, or half of them. Like, these don't even have it. Might swap out one of the rifles for an Assault Pioneers, although even then, look, they got less things, right? And the motorized rifles are the same price, but with a law on it. I don't know. Go with a Gustav. One more man it can be useful. It's just a bad first UK. I mean, what else is there to say? If this Centurion Avra was really good, then it would be worth bringing this div. But it's just a bad first UK. I'm sorry, bros. I'm sorry, UK bros. So, if you check the description, you'll see the link to the game where this is played, unless this is the game where this is played, in which case it will just play now. And if you're a member, you can view that game straight away. Or you can just check the links and view the rest of the decks while you wait for these videos to come out over the course of the next week and a half. I'll see you around. Or yeah, MBAD as we call it, MBAD. And after the game I played against Integer, I really want to try this one out for myself. So we're having a look-see. So I've been told the div is quite weak. So you do get forward deployed CVs. The Sultans are 3 per card though, so I do like those. Although getting a forward deployed CV, this tab is really rough though, really rough tab. You can get forward deployed supply, which is entertaining. 35 points, or yeah. So we'll go for that, and then this thing not great, but you see this carries 500 and this carries 300, and they cost the same. It's because of the forward deployment. So we will be getting the Rover. I always like 3 cards of supply, but this tab is rough. I will try a munitions thing. Inf tab. But yeah, looking at the other ones, we've clearly got an FS Jaeger Iltis here and a Para Iltis. MBAD is basically a multinational airborne division. That's what it stands for. Multi-bad airborne division. And yeah, interessant. So we're having a look at some of these options here. For some reason, you get lots of different choices of machine gun, or you can get. I mean, I'll be honest. Now that these are 4 HP, a change in this patch, I don't see the point in the 50 cals. So we'll go for this. Marina Dragon 1. 30 points for 2 men with a Dragon 1. No. Commando Para's smoke grenade thing. Looks like a good squad. Oh, but they're 100 points. This is 6 men for 50. Literally half the price, so we'll get that, but it doesn't have the forward deployed, which is probably what's swinging it. They've also got a machine gun. But you don't want them in combat anyway. Gurkha Wombat Combat. I think these things are a bit too expensive, really. But yeah, we're skipping. Genie Parachutist, so this is a Belgian airborne unit, 6 men for 40 points, but it's airborne. That's a bit rough. I mean, you're paying the airborne tax, right? Paracommandos, 50 points for 8 men, but they're airborne. Airborne Milan. Wow, that's actually not a bad deal. 40 points for a Milan and a thing, and it's airborne. We'll get that. Genie Parachutist, I mean, we'll look through everything. Then Paracommando Blindercide. Interesting. So that's obviously really good because it's got 18 pen, and it reloads in 6 seconds, as do all the one-shot things, whereas it's 4 for the other ones, right? Obviously, Vet changes it. So we'll get 2 of those if we need it. Because yeah, it's just. I mean, you can. Yeah. Gurkha AT group. So this is like Panzerjäger, except with lore 80s. 40 points for 4 men is. Don't think so. Gurkha rifles. Whoa. So they're not special forces, so you don't need to take them on elite. But they are very strong. They're also very expensive. So maybe we should take them on elite because they cost so much. So we'll get 8 of those. And forget the AT group. I mean, these guys have laws. I sort of understand the idea behind sneaking these around the side on a forested map and stuff, but there actually aren't that many of those left. On something like Urban Frontlines, this could probably work. But I really think these are just too expensive. Like 6 availability. Mariniers. So they've got 3 MGs, and they're 45 points for 3 MGs. So that's actually decent. Like, look, this is 100 points for 3 MGs. This only has 1 MG. This only has 1 MG. So these guys are actually, well, they're not airborne, right? But they're really good. It's a shame it's only 1 squad. And you can get it in a Dapja, which I guess is a Dutch one. Or you can get it in a Huey. Paramilan 1s. I really like this transport. Obviously it's got bad stealth, right? But the fact that it's got a 50 cal and a Milan means that you can like get this around the back line and do all sorts with it. Having said that, on the Milan 1s we probably don't need it. FS Jaeger Führer forward deployed 85.6 men. Pirate Engineers leader forward deployed 6 men. FS Pioneer. So we're getting into the Germans now. Yeah, so FS Pioneer versus Genies. The Genie obviously is 15 points cheaper. And it's got 2 machine guns. But it's got 6 men. I actually think the Genie Parachutist is probably better value for money. No, because, I mean, literally 4 more men for 15 points. Yeah, it's very worth it. 4 more men for 15 points. Parrot Engineers, so these are British ones. British. And they're the same price, but they've got 1 more MG and 1 less guy. The MG is useful. The MG is basically 2 guns, 2.1 guns. So they lose a rifle and get an MG, which means they fight with the same strength despite having 1 less man, which means you might as well take the 1 more man. Paragun Group, so 3 MGs and a Carl Gustav, what's not to like? ATMP. Sorry, I've got a very itchy nose. I do apologise. I realise this probably isn't great for the camera, but my nose, it itches. I mean, the Rover is better. What is the point of the ATMP? Costs the same. It's got less speed, less fuel, same HP, same armor, so we're getting them in the Rover. And honestly, that's a really good squad. Paras, 70 points. That's not worth it. And we didn't get a Milan too. So Para Gun Group probably beats out Para Commandos. So this is 50 points for 8 men, law, 1 thing, whereas this is 55. Oh, it's 6 men. That does actually make them quite weak. Yeah, because, okay, so they shoot with the strength of 9 men, if you imagine MGs as 2 guns, right? They shoot with the strength of 9 men, but they cost more, right? Although, having said that, the Belgian laws are really bad. 11 pen. You can get FS Jaeger. Paras versus FS Jaeger. The FS Jaeger get a better thing, but the Paras get more availability. I don't know. What should we put in? I mean, I need the Milan 2s anyway. Para Milan 2s. You're basically paying 5 points for veterancy. So that's 5 points for 5% accuracy. Same availability, right? And forward deployment for free, if you want us to think about it like that. So yeah, we'd get those. I would like some Milan 1s, to tell you the truth. But what do we get rid of? I'm thinking of getting rid of this. I mean, I thought they were good, but they're not. Right, well, we've got the MAGs. Get 8 of them at 2, that's probably a good idea. Ooh, I feel like we just don't have a lot of infantry, despite being an inf div. Like, there's no tank CVs, so like, we literally only have the CVs in here. We'll have to get rid of this and get a... Right, we've got forward... No, that's not forward deployed, so we'll get... So there you go. So we now got 7 CVs, but like we just don't seem to have that much stuff. I'm not sure about this Paragun Group at all. You compare it to the Marinias, which I guess you can really only get 1 card of anyway, so it's not really... But you compare Paragun Group to these guys just have 2 more guys, better rocket launcher. And so the 2 MGs make them fight with the strength of 8 men, or you could just get 8 men. But the 8 men are more expensive. And they do have higher availability, so we'll try them. Like, just feel like I don't have that much infantry. Maybe I should downvet these. And then we get 12 Gurkha rifles. Like, this is probably going to be the bread and butter of my force, so... Although they're so expensive, I don't know. It's a tough one, man. I feel like this div is a bit rough, dude. But yeah, this para gun group could do with being like 5 points cheaper, I think. We'll see. Arty tab. So we got 81mm bitish, 81mm cluster bitish. What? Merlin rounds. Guided indirect fire, corrected shots are extremely accurate. Okay. Try it. And then we've got, 120s. Can this shoot smoke? Because if it can't, I'm doomed. But I guess my 105s can shoot the smoke. 105s now have their direct fire capability. For some reason, all the ranges lost 1 meter. It's probably just a bug. But between these two, the bitish one is way better because it has more range, which means its dispersion circle will be tighter. It also has direct fire capability. It also has airliftable capability, not that that really matters, but the point is that, look upon me in despair. We could try bringing him in the Chinooks. It might be funny. I don't really see how it helps. Like, you can get them close to the front lines, but you don't really want them moving around everywhere. It doesn't make a difference if you fire from over here and then over here. Obviously, in real life, it would make a difference because if the trench is covering you one way, if everybody's hiding behind a wall and then you hit them from the other side, you're going to get them, right? But in the game, it doesn't really matter. So I'll just bring the better one, and I'll bring it in the rover. Tank tab. 80 MP Milan. Airborne, forward deployed, wheeled Milan 2 with 9 missiles. That's a must take. Strikers. Swing fire. It's not great. Cracker toe. Because the problem is the mediocre stealth, which means it gets revealed as soon as it fires. Cracker toe. That's an ITO on a car. Or you can get a weasel, which is an ITO on a car. For some reason, the weasel is... Oh no, this is tracked. It doesn't have smoke. I don't see any smoke launchers. Is it not supposed to have smoke? That's a big shame. Toe 2, though. You probably need it. Like, this is clearly the tab, right? This is why you had so much rubbish flying around the place. This is clearly the tab. So, like, you can bring one of everything. I mean, obviously, we want the... It's a shame these are only 1 card. I can understand why they're so cheap with them being so bad, but the fact that they're only 1 card each is rough. But yeah, that's like a fairly fundamental blob, I guess. Scorpion, toe 2s. What's my AA sitch? They're like weasel toes. Toed weasels. There's a wheeled weasel. I mean, man, what is that? What is a sky guard? Oh, I know what these are. British Spag. This is from the Falklands. They captured Argentine Bofors and pressed them into British service. ATMP Lamau. Interesting. Paraminstrels. Oh, it's a shame they don't get the cool transport. This guy's sticking it through his face. Basically, what I want is AA with my little blob thing, right? So we'll get the weasels. And it is funny that you can bring them all in helicopters. But yeah, this is my opener, Milan 2 wheeled AA, wheeled opener. This is also Airborne. So there you go. That's a really strong opener because you can open with this Airborne forward deployed AA, and you can open with this Airborne forward deployed TOW 2, and they've both got good stealth. No, this is mediocre, but so that's interesting. And yeah, I mean, we've clearly got loads of points left here, so we'll come back to it. Tank recon tab, so the Gazelle, or you can get a Scout Hellam, which has an AS11 on it, which has 19 pen. It's only got 40% accuracy, but it's got 19 pen, so we'll get that. Snipers can be useful. More Scorpions, more Scimitars. I mean, this tab is a bit rough. For how much choice we have, it's rough. I do like the idea of Scimitars and stuff. So we got some Ratatouille para commandos here. Airborne forward deploy just like everybody else. I mean, they're only 40 points, but the rocket launcher they got is really bad. Or you can get the French ones, which have a blinder side, which is still kind of bad. But these guys are really powerful in combat because they've got 3 machine guns. So they shoot with the strength of 9 men, sort of like the gun groups in the other tab and the recon, right? LSV 50 cal for 45 points. That's a bit expensive. I appreciate that it is special forces, so it will actually go faster than this. It will actually go faster than that. In fact, that's actually really interesting. So this LSV Milan will go faster than this ATMP Milan, even though they're both airborne, even though they both have the same road speed. It's differentiated due to its special forces nature, and it's got very good optics. So I feel like this is like a must bring. But you only get 3 of them. But yeah, I think this is a bit pricey. 45 points for just a vehicle. I mean, and you only get 4 of them. I don't know. Then we definitely need some recon somewhere, right? Paris Scouts. Interesting unit. Pathfinders. They're very expensive. Oh, they're special forces. Okay. Um, they've got 4 machine guns. We have to bring them. It's a shame it goes 4-2. We have to bring them. And we need a bit more recon, right? We can't just have this. So we could get some Ratatouille guy. I mean, 40 points for this, or 50 for, you know, a way better rocket launcher. We got to go for the 50. These guys are 8 men. I mean, it's just like once we run out of infantry in our inf tab, we'll be bringing these guys. So that's 10 points for 2 men, but 1 less machine gun and worse rocket launcher. So this is better. AA. So javelins, the usual crack a 20 mil thing. I mean, it looks funny. It could be actually. This could be really good because I've noticed like we don't have any IFVs. All our transports are just little cars. Our fire support is not substantial. I mean, obviously we've got the weasel things, right? And then so there's a bit. There's quite a bit actually, but I think that this would be useful just to shoot people because it's wheeled, right? And you shoot them with it. So this is probably useless for 50 points. This is definitely useless for 60 points, although 3,000 meter AA range is interesting. We spoke about the ATM PML. Paraminstrels, yeah, I mean, you're paying 25 more points for much better range and 1 more HE. To be honest, that's probably not worth it. Obviously, the accuracy is better, but, like, you're paying 25 points for it. So we won't go for that. And then this is what I was looking at this whole time. Rapier FSB2 Darkfire. The best AA Britain has to offer in 1989. It's got decent AA range. Great. Heli Tab. It's a shame there's no Lynx rockets in this div, but... I mean, what? There's actually no rocket helicopters at all. No autocannon helicopters, it's just ATGMs. It's literally just ATGMs. Okay. So between these two, I'm really surprised that he brought this one, given that it's got 4 HP. Oh, well, okay, the Hot 2 is really good, so... Yeah, well, I mean, regular tow's terrible, so we'll just do that, I guess. Anyway, it should be where the magic happens. So you got fighters, F-16 AA2, so shotgun fighter, another shotgun fighter, and then he was bringing like Buccaneer Seed. It's really bad seed, only 30% ECM. This is clearly the gameplay right here, but it's only 1 per card. Buccaneer HE. Like, these are all really expensive for 20% ECM planes. I guess it's sort of like a Jaguar. Buccaneer 80, 3 per card. This has got really low accuracy, but 3 per card is a must bring. That is a cluster Dutch F-16. we could bring it as an ASF, although it's only got 4 HE on the missiles, whereas these are all 5, and most planes have 10 HP, right? So, not great. Kind of weird how this has 10% less ECM than all the other ones, and this, like, usually the Seed has more ECM, so that is really weird. I'll put in a bug request for that, or at least, you know, I'll ask them why, because that is odd. And we'll bring the 2 LGBTs. No, we won't. What do we get rid of? What do we get rid of? Oh, these only come in Gazelles. Get rid of that. There you go. And now we still need stuff. What else do we get rid of? We could get rid of these guys. We've got the Pathfinders. I mean, obviously the AT potential isn't really there, but get rid of those guys. Right now we can afford another plane. And we can get the Seed. So yeah, I feel like the div is a bit thin, but you've got good LARP potential. The fact that you can just bring everything in a helicopter, or almost everything. US 9th Motorized Infantry Division in the NORTHAG expansion. Lots of new units to get through, so this is going to take a while. We've got the very, very unfortunately named Cook V. That's going to get me demonetized, oh well. 300 supply per vehicle. Honestly, it's not as good as this one, but so you bring that, and then you have to bring these if you want 3 cards of supply, or you can bring the Helo supply, which can work. So we'll only be bringing 1 Cook V. Oh man, I love being demonetized. Please do thank the generous channel joiners who make it possible for me to get demonetized and still make videos. We'll see what the censor thinks about Cook V. I think it won't like it at all. So yeah, we'll get this CV and then this CV, and that's probably not right. So yeah, interesting. So the only new vehicle in this tab is this one, and it's just literally just a Ford Fiesta, bro. Or it's a Chevron, I guess. And yeah, it's got a tarp on the back, so it's just a civilian truck basically. Interesting. Infantry tab. So we've got the National Guard M60s, which are also in 24th and 35th. Then we've got the regular M60s. You'll notice that all medium machine guns are now 4 strength, same as the 50 cals. So that does make them a lot better, given that, you know, especially given that you know, they're quite like you get 6 at 2 vet, right, and then it's going to do a lot more damage. I personally, for the opener, this is better, but for late game, this would be better, right? Because basically in the opener, you got to pay for all the transports, so this isn't really 15 and 35, it's actually 35 and 55. So yeah, that's something. So we'll try that. Anyway, MP Patrol, we've seen these guys before, 5 men. Then MP Patrol M67. These guys are basically a must-bring because of their recoilless rifle. They're really useful, so we'll be bringing those. Engineers, Engineers Leader we've seen before. They're in loads of divs. Oh, new transport. It is a Humvee with some stuff on the back. Interesting. So yeah, new transport there. All of these guys come in Cook V's. We'll get through it. I'm a mature person. Everybody skips a deck review anyway, it's fine. Anyway, regular engineers, still 50 points. Still 50 points. Engineers Flash. I don't really like these guys. I mean, they can work if you like blob them all up and use them properly, but I never tend to use them properly, so they just die. The 5 strength, it's really difficult to keep them alive. I do kind of like the, I'll be honest, like, are there any new? I guess this is like the 1 new unit. Maybe there's 2. So we might be bringing the engineers. 50 cal vehicles are useful, but it's got less than 1 armor. Like, I mean, well, we'll see if it's useful. Well, we'll see if it's good, right? And then engineers Dragon, you can get them in the same thing. So yeah, let's try that. Kind of just want them for the spam, really. I don't know, because I kind of want to get all my money back on my vehicles, but I have this strange feeling that, yeah, we need fire support. This is the first time I've looked at the div, right? So National Guard leader 6 strength. The thing is, it's 3 availability, whereas the other ones are 2, and it's cheap. So we're going to be bringing that. National Guard M113 A1 is still 20 points. Sadly, I'd be in favor of reducing that to 15 because it's the National Guard variant, but the 50 cal is very useful. Yeah, what could I say? So we'll be bringing this, and we're bringing it in the truck. National Guard Law, so these guys are in 35th as well. We've seen them before. National Guard Dragon. It's a Dragon 2, but they've got 1 less MG. So this is very much a National Guard div. Anyway, light rifles, these guys look new, and you can get a grenade launcher Humvee. Interessant. But, you know, we already got our CV. Light rifles Law, so you could get the grenade launcher Humvee. And, oh, actually, wow, this is a really good squad. So they've got a sniper, which, like, do these either start? No, they don't. So the sniper is, the DMR even, is, like, really good. It deals a lot of suppression. It deals more than twice the suppression of a machine gun. So in terms of suppression, this is 4 machine guns. So we'll be bringing as many of these as we can get, and we'll be getting the grenade launcher trans. I mean, we'll see if it's worth it. We'll see if it's worth it. We'll find out. And you got to remember to keep pressing these, right? It's just because, like, otherwise, like, this is basically, you could sell this and just be free. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, tows. So you can get the tow 2A, which is new. National Guard tow is obviously in 24th and 35th. ITO's in a bunch of things. This is a tow 2A. So it's like the tow 2, but even better. And for some reason this guy is just lower down than the other ones. Is that a racial thing? Because he appears to be Chinese, they've made him shorter, although this guy's shorter as well. It just seems like the new units have shorter guys, although this one's higher. I don't know. This is pretty funny though. Anyway, so we will be bringing some tow 2As, and we'll be bringing some National Guard tows. To be honest, that's really expensive for what it is. 16 pen doesn't one-shot a 1 armor vehicle, so we're not going to be bringing that. So it doesn't one-shot a 3 armor vehicle, my bad. Light rifles Dragon get Dragon 2s and 3 MGs, and like this is a pretty effective squad. So we'll be bringing these. I do like the idea behind the Humvees, but I don't know, I feel like it's just going to add up over time. I'm spending so much money on my Humvees, and what are they doing for me? Do you know what I mean? Uh, so... So yeah, we'll do that. We'll see if it works out for us. I mean, not having many ATGMs, but we've got this, and we've got plenty of fire support, anti-infantry fire support. We will obviously struggle a lot against the armor. And yeah, so the light rifles Dragon costs more than the light rifles Law. I just like to have things in order, really. Engineers Dragon should be at the end, and the Humvee comes with a military police Humvee, so we didn't actually take advantage of the, you know, the National Guard guys, but I mean, this is 9 men for 50 points, whereas this is 10 for 65, but they've got 2 more MGs, and they're not reservist, which is a big deal, really. And the light rifles Law seem really good, so that's what we're going with. Artillery tab, wow, new thing, so we've seen this before. We've seen this before, this is in 35th. We've seen this before, this is in 35th. We've seen this before, it's in 82nd Airborne and 101st. This is new. It is an American coffin launcher. Very exciting. 12 armor. And it is the American copy of the coffin launcher. Looks like a stat clone when it comes to the weapon. Same pen and everything. Same range. But 12 armor, that's juicy. So we'll be bringing that. It's interesting it's in the arty tab. And not the tank tab. I mean, what is this, like an M60 chassis? Whatever. Either way, this big board here clearly makes it very armor. So we've got 155mm, which you see everywhere, and then this is different. This is CLGP. I believe those are copperhead rounds, so they're guided indirect fire, which makes them a lot more accurate, but the range is less. It makes them a lot more accurate when you have recon in the area, but when you don't have recon in the area, it'll be a lot less accurate because the total range is a lot lower, which means the dispersion circle at the same range will be higher, greater. So we'll be bringing... Oh, and it's only 1 per card. Ouch. You gotta bring it for the meme, but it's terrible. It's terrible. You don't want to be bringing these. Basically, the reservist makes it aim and shoot slower, but the stat card doesn't tell you. So even though these look like they're similar, actually this is just bow. So yeah, we definitely want these, and we'll be bringing this just so we can complain about it when it dies. Because yeah, the slots are there, but they're not cheap. Tank tab, it's quote unquote tank tab. So we've got the TOW 2 thing. This is in 35th. It's National Guard. It's only mediocre stealth. Then you've got this, which is in 82nd, and Burcom, and it's not National Guard, so that's pretty decent looking. Then you've got the Cook VGLA. It's got Hellfires on it. Oh man. I mean, it's really expensive, but hey, man, it's literally got Hellfires on it. Although it's weird how it says it's manual guided Hellfires. But yeah, we have to bring that. And then we'll have to bring some Humvee tows as well. And then in terms of our tanks, how many CVs have we got? 3, 4, 5. So we need a tank CV. And then you've got the National Guard ones from 35th. And then you've got the not National Guard ones from... Okay, so this is much more worth bringing for 10 points more. It's not reservist, which is actually huge. But yeah, I mean, the availability isn't even that much better. But you only get one card, so you're sort of forced to bring the reservist ones. And it might even be worth, like... You really don't want to do that. And then we'll send the military police cars, because the military police cars have the military police tag, and we'll send these with these to keep these going. And that should be good enough. We'll see. Recon tab. Lots of recon. Lots of recon. Wow. So, National Guard Scouts, they're in 24th. Then we've got the Humvee GVLD, which is exceptional optics for 20 points. Not bad. And the slots let us take it. Scouts, regular scouts. We've seen these guys before. So you see, this is 35. Oh, I guess it's a recon one, right? Whereas this is 30. It's also got less than one armor because it's open topped. Whereas this one has also less than one armor. Interesting. Okay, so then we've got Fault, who are 2 men with ground surveillance radar. Yikes. Or you can get these guys who are 2 men with SIGINT, which is that thing that draws a circle that lets you see things. I'm seeing something very interesting looking. Looks like a drone. Fault seems like a bit of a waste of money. A waste of a slot. Then you've got Snipers M82. So these guys have a Barrett 50 cal, and I believe it has a pen value. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, when they're stood still, they get a 500% damage boost, and it's got more range than a regular sniper. So you get to 360 no-scope people. You do 1.25 damage per shot on that, and then... times by 0.75 on that. So you actually deal 2 damage a shot. So you could one-shot a Milan team in the open. Yeah, we're taking those. It's a shame you only get 3. Then this is 50 cal for 45. It's a bit expensive. Then this is a grenade launcher, 1 for 45 points. Oh, yeah. This is a TOW 2 one. Oh, yeah, for 100 points. That's worth it. Then you've got the Scout Helo. You see this everywhere. Then you've got a new looking one. Why is it more expensive? Because it's got an autocannon. But it's not a turreted autocannon. Do you see this? There's no turret, so it can't bend. So the helicopter actually has to bend to shoot. It's only got 40. It's not worth it. Then you've got the Kiowa, which has exceptional optics, and it's only 10 points more than the Scout, which has very good optics, so you should get that. Then you've got the drone, the new drone, the American drone. Looks interesting. So I mean, it's a good meme, right? So we should bring it. Because if this provides guided, because it's recon, it'll provide guided rounds for this. So, you know, let's just get that, because we definitely don't need 3, right? And there you go. So, AA tab National Guard Stinger ain't great. The VADS is just too expensive for what it is. Regular Stingers, so you're paying 20 points more, but it's got 10% more accuracy. Although... now it's only got 5% more accuracy. Yeah, and then to be honest, like, who cares if you're suppressed as National Guard? The main thing is that the reservist makes the aim time go up, but the stat card doesn't tell you, and that will make a difference. So we're going to be bringing the Stingers in the Cook V, and then you've got a Toad Chaparral, and then you've got an Avenger, which is also in Airborne, 8 second, but this one is not forward deployed. So we'll be bringing that. And if you want to kill planes, I'm hoping we've got a good AA tab. Because, yeah, I've not paid 90 quid for it, because obviously you got to bring it in the M35, so it's 110 for a Toad Chappy. No thanks, mate. A Helo tab, so Toe Cobra and then Cobra, which is now called Hog. Great. And then Air tab. So have we got any new planes here? We do. So this one is in 11th Cav, and this is your shotgun one against Helos. Then you've got the HE one, which is in 8 second. The Cluster 2, which is new. So that's got more clusters than the Cluster 1. Then you've got the HE2, which is in 11th Cav. Then you've got the Sneed, which you do need if you want to have air. Then we do get Eagles. They're not the 82nd, they're not the 3rd US Armoured Eagles. The 82nd Airborne Eagles as well. They're the worser Eagles, which is a shame. I missed out this one. Whoa. That's an interesting vehicle. So it's got Mavericks. It's also got, I mean, it should be classed as an AT plane, right? But wow, that's crazy. GPU 5A Pave Claw. That looks pretty crazy. Where's it mounted? In the middle. Interesting. Interesting. So we'll be bringing that for the AT. And we need Eagles. And it's a shame we don't have LGBTs. Because, like, the seed is probably not worth it if all we've got is one bomber, right? I mean, we can bring the HE, like, it's got double the payload, 20 more points. But if you've got seed with it, it can work. And my main concern is that we'll really struggle to kill the tanks, so I'm thinking we need the Cluster 2. But if you want to kill infantry, I wonder if how good this is against infantry. We'll find out. Anyway, we've got 1 point spare. And if I was making this to be meta, I would get rid of that drone. Frankly, we don't need this. There you go, now we got 2 points spare. So we can get another... Oh, man. We can get another Stinger. Cook V Stinger. Because, and then we can upvet them. What did I get rid of for that? A recon. Like, we could just get more infantry like, how much is this slot? For example, Engineer's Dragon. 3 point slot. Yeah, so then instead I can get 2 infantry... But your infantry recon options aren't great, to tell you the truth. I wanted to... Like, these guys don't come with the ACAV. Scouts are obviously not great. Like, none of them have AT. We don't have forward deployed, right? So it's going to be pretty rough. So I'm thinking we probably need these guys back. And given the lack of like, we've only got 8 ATGMs, we probably need another infantry ATGM card. So I'm thinking TOW 2A again. I mean, it's got the tandem as well, so it deals more damage to ERA, which actually makes it like better versus ERA than like having the ERA is actually a detriment. It does more damage than it would do if you didn't have the ERA and still had the same everything else. It's pretty funny. Or we could save, 15 points per thing and get an ITO and just mix them in and they won't know which is which. I'll be honest, I like it when my stuff just obliterates enemy targets. This still wouldn't one-shot M1A1 Abrams, so yeah, we might as well just go for the ITO. And then we don't have the Engineer's Dragon, but this can be my Engineered Dragon if I want to hold ground. So now we've got 2 points spare, and we can put it in the AA tab. I'm lacking infantry recon, really. I need infantry recon, so we can't put it in the AA tab, I'm afraid. These guys get a DMR. 30 points for 4 men. I mean, 25 points for 4 men, 20 points for 4 men. These guys get a DMR, but they're reservists, so they're not as good. The availability is higher, but yeah, I'm thinking regular scouts. Oh, that's got the Airborne icon on it. I wonder if that means that it's actually Airborne forward deployed. We'll find out in game. I highly doubt it, to tell you the truth. So that's that, and now we've got a bit more infantry recon because you can't just set the snipers out everywhere. They'll just die. Anyway, you've actually got 3, 6, 11 of that. The new 16DE Panzer Division. This is the Belgian division. I stuttered there, but we won't start again. So this is our first new vehicle, the Man. It looks just like a American man cat. Maybe I'm wrong. And then you've got the Volvo. Yeah, the Volvo 3000 supply. You're getting big savings there, so you get that as your third card of supply. We've got a fairly generous tab here, and then if you want your standard supply, you're forced to bring the expensive men. And then you get the Sultan. This is in 2nd Panzer. You know, if you remember, the Belgians were actually added as the second ever divisions added. No, that was 8th and 39Y. They were the 4th ever divisions added, because it went 79Y 3rd Armoured, then 8th US 39, then 5th Panzer Division 7th, and then 2nd 4th. Or was it 2nd and 4th first? It doesn't matter. So there you go, 3 CVs and a card, and then you can get this one, which is sadly only 2, but it's got a gun on it. I don't understand, like, what is the... Who decides? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, this one appears to be forward deployable, although it's only 2 per card, so it might be useful. We'll see. We'll see if we need it. And that is just a Humvee. This is some sort of crazy Belgian-looking thing. Who knows? And this is an Iltis. So interesting. Interesting. Next tab. Okay, so Belgian MAG. So it's like the British one. All MAGs, MMGs are now, 4 HP now. So that makes them better. 50 cal. Interesting transport options. So you've got the Iltis, which is obviously French, but these guys have it. And then you've got the M113A1B, or the IVB30. Why is that 30 points? It's got smoke. It's got a 50 cal and it's got smoke, which does actually make it, and it's faster. I think if it was 25, it'd be an absolute steal, but at 30, it's competing with like SPWs, which are wheeled as opposed to tracked. So it's difficult to justify bringing. It depends what's in our tank to... Okay, I'm starting to understand now. This is an early game rush division. Early game mech rush, not airborne deployed. Although there appears to be some Dutch people in my Belgian division. So maybe it is... Okay, well, I mean, I've not played it yet. We'll find out together. So we might need this. We'll see. Oh, you can get 6 at 2 there. It's really not bad. Prevote, so that this is the Belgian version of the French unit. Interesting. We might need them depending on how many reservists. So 35 points. They got the Blinder side. They got the Saw Fallow LMG. 9 men. Not bad. Not bad. It's very similar to the French reservists. And you can bring them in a 50 cal transport. So I'm thinking mech rush. I'm thinking mech rush. You definitely need at least 1 card of these guys. Like, that is crazy. You can get 36 of them. Anyway, we'll go through the rest of the tab and then I'll build it, because I'm still trying to figure out what this division's supposed to be. So, CV, only 2 in a card, CV, only 2 in a card, CV, only 2 in a card. The inf slots are cheaper than these slots, but this is like forward deployed. Oh, so is this. Interesting. That's not a bad squad, actually. It's very expensive, but anyway. We're skipping ahead. So this is your CV, and you can get... So it's got 3 armor but no smoke. And it's got a 7.62 instead of a 50 cal, so I can understand why it's 20 points. I mean, 3 armor. I don't think it's worth it. Anyway, Pioneers with the RL83. So that's these are just regular inf, and you can get the 3 armor. You can get the 1 armor with the 50 cal. I mean, do I get autocannons? Yeah, I do. Interesting. So these guys, yeah, I don't know how to build the div yet. Pioneers, so this is just your standard. I mean, they're 50 points, even though they're 9. which is rough because the Americans are 50 at 10, and then Pioneer's Flam, which are actually cheaper. Oh, I see. It's not a flamethrower, it's a napalm launcher called a Halfa. I guess that's like the West German hand flam patron. It looks the same. Then you've got Airborne 50 cals, but who don't get a free rank of veterancy. Dutch Airborne 50 cals in my Belgian division. Commandant, Mech Fusilier, only 2 availability, but they're dirt cheap. And then you've got this funny thing again, which does have smoke on it and 2 armor. Mech Fusiliers, so you can get... So, okay, so... Whoa, they've got 3 MGs. Wow. So they're like a better arm rifles, except their rocket launcher is worse. But they get an extra MG. That's the trade-off. Your rocket launcher is worse, but you get an extra MG. And for 50 points, you can get an Ehrlichen, which I think is really good because it's got the Bushmaster stats. It doesn't have an ATGM on it, but I think we need that. I'm getting the impression... Wow, you can get 5 at 2 vet. The infantry slots are so cheap. I need it. And then we can get some reservists in trucks just to pad it out. Who cares about the Prevost? Mech Fusilier Blinderside. So they're the same price, but they've... Like, this is literally just better arm rifles. Literally just better arm rifles. Yeah, interesting. Have you got anybody with good AT? Short answer, no. 14 is the highest you're getting. So, between these two fewer men for 15-point difference, this ain't worth it for 55. Especially given 3 of them have flipping Uzis. So, yeah, I think that should be 50, if anything. So, yeah, this is obviously better. Less... Oh, even higher availability as well. Wow, okay. So we'll get these guys. And they're less expensive than the Mech Fusiliers. And then Milan 1s. And you can get them in the M113. Or you can get it in the Milan M113. But it's got bad stealth, so I don't really think it's worth it. And then Milan 2s. And this thing has 2 armor and smoke and a Milan 1. So it could be useful, but for 40 points, I mean, this is like a bad BMP 1 at this point. So, no thanks. No thanks. We'll get it in the car. And then we'll get a card of Milan 1s, because I think we might need them. Like, your inf's so cheap. I've got a bad feeling about the other tabs. And then you also get Airborne Fusiliers, but they don't have veterancy, so you only get 4 at 2 vet, and you will need to upvet them. So, very interesting infantry tab. I mean, I've still got a point slot here, but I won't use it for now. And we'll put these at the start, because we might need them. Artillery. Belgian 81mm, so that's like the British one, I guess. Or is that 82? I can't remember. Belgian 107, I think it's the American one. Belgian... This is the British one, because it's the L16. This is actually Dutch anyway. And it's better, but it's more expensive. It's got more range, which means its dispersion will be tight. Oh, it's got airborne forward deployment. That's not bad, actually. You're losing the availability, you're paying more points. You've got a very scared-looking man on the left there. But if the airborne... Rocking up with that... you know... Sorry, somebody sent me a Discord message. I just, at the start, I can airborne people, or I could just get the British 105, which now has direct fire, and I could just buy this from the spawn and hit whatever I'm trying to hit from the spawn with the smoke. So, yeah, we're getting that instead. And Paladins. Fairly standard. Your arty slots are quite cheap here. I'm thinking maybe I could get 2 of these and upvet them. What the heck was going on there? Whatever. We might have to get rid of that. Tank tab. Iltis Milan 2. Belgian Milan 2 Iltis, yes, please. That's way too expensive for what it is. It's like the one out of TKS. I think it's just too many points. 6 armor for 60 points. I mean, The gun on it's terrible, though. So I guess the idea is to shoot infantry with the gun. Strikers. Airborne Humvee tows, yes please. And then Leopard 1 spam. Leopard 1 spam. So you've got the Leopard 1 BE, which has max range gun. Or you have the Leopard 105 BE, which has max range gun but one more pen for 10 points more. So it is better, but you only get one card. So this is all about the Leopard 1s, I guess. How many CVs have we got? 5. I mean, for this, I actually will buy the cheaper one, because why would I need one more pen on my CV tank gun when it just shouldn't be anywhere near the front line ever, because it only has 8 armor. So that's a very full tab, isn't it? Interesting. Come on, man. Leopard 1 spam div. Interesting. I would have thought that'd be a Dutch thing, but whatever. Anyway, exceptional optics to keep with my tanks. I will need that. Recon helo, we might need it, but I see a drone down here. So we'll bring the Epavia instead, the drone, the funny drone. And then you got Eclairs. So these guys are in 2nd Panzergren already. You can bring them in an Alouette, which has mediocre optics, sadly. Or you can get the Eclairs Blindercide, which is actually just a proper squad. Sniper ESR. That's an interesting sniper. And that's an interesting helicopter. But it says 0 meters forward deployed on the helicopter, but it might not be, because the sniper has the helicopter, so this might just be bugged. So we'll try it, we'll see if we can get it. Same with these guys. Whoa, that's a squad. Wow. They've got lots of blue things. Honestly, it's not actually that amazing. It's just the ground surveillance radar and the DMR. Oh, actually, this is a sniper, not a DMR. Even though it looks a bit silly, it's classed as a sniper, so that's a good squad. Get 4 at max vet. And that's your helo opener, right? Although, I mean, we got the snipers, we got the airborne guys, so I don't know. We'll see if this is actually forward deployable. Scorpions and scimitars. And then Dutch Eclairs, who have laws. Don't really need them. Down vet this, and then we've got enough in this tab. AA tab. I'm falling in love with this division, bro. Although the AA tabs are very, very weak. So that's good against infantry, maybe. Might be good direct fire support, but we've also got a lot of, you know, auto cannons and things like that, so I don't think we need it. Gepards. Belgian Gepards. I don't know how they compare to German Gepards. It kind of looks the same. And maybe I'm missing something. It kind of looks the same to me. So we'll get some Gepards. And this is just rubbish. And then a Minstrel. And you only get 1 card. So that's a bit rough, actually. Hopefully our air tab is helos. That has a tow 2 on it. 10 points for 4 more tow 2s. And 1 less avail. Not worth it, really. Just buy a supply truck. And then we got 3 points to spend on planes, but we will be probably removing something from some of these other tabs. Like, probably these guys. Because if you've got reservists, what do you need these guys for? Alternatively... yeah. I think we do need all those Gepards. Mirage 5BA. So, that's rubbish. Should be 3 availability, really. A Mirage 5B that is just a standard sort of Jaguar-esque bomber. Mirage 5B Napalm, that's in 2nd Panzergren. Mirage 5BA Cluster, that could be good. How does it compare to this one? This is Shake and Bake. This might actually kill what it's aimed at. This is your fighter, it's a shotgun fighter, so your fighters aren't great. What is this? It's another Mirage. It's just a Mirage bomber. Very exciting. So we'll get the cluster, we'll get the AA, and we're not going to really be relying on air too much because, frankly, it's not great. So, you know, we are struggling a bit. Like, I would really love an extra card of fighters, so what we can do is down vet this, get rid of that, and now I can afford that extra card of fighters. And honestly, the vet on this would be great. It would be excellent, in fact. But I need those extra fighters, man, because otherwise we're just going to get creamed. I mean, these only have 4 HE, which means they don't two-shot a plane. Oh, man, that's a rough one. Belgium. We're playing 4DYWZ Mech Warno, or Square, as I like to call it. And yeah, first time I'm looking at this. This is Poland. This is a Polish division. And it looks like it is a Polish... it doesn't really tell you, right? I guess it's a Polish Mechanized division, if it's Zmekiziwana. So, start at the beginning. Got a new supply truck here. It is just a gas, but it's a Polish gas, so it's different. And it carries 600 supply times 10. So yeah, let's get 2 cards of that. I do like my supply. And we've also got this, which is also already in the game on the Soviets, but this is the Polish version, and that carries 2,000 supply in a card. We'll see. We'll see if we need it. I think a 3rd card of supply is probably a good idea, and we don't actually have any choices if we want to bring a 3rd card of supply. So this is a very supply-limited deck in terms of cards. You can obviously bring a fob, or a punkt in this case. You get a CV Hilo, 3 availability. I believe they're usually 2. So this being 3 is a big upgrade, unless they're usually 3. In fact, I'm actually just going to check that right now. So let's just drop this in here. Polska Górom. And then I'm going to check 82nd Airborne or something. Lots of new divs here, guys. It's going to take us a long time to get through them. They won't all be in this video. So many new divs, in fact, that I can't actually find 82nd Airborne anymore. There it is. Oh, this is 3. Okay, my apologies. I'll just edit that part out so that nobody knows that I was wrong. We've got a car here. It's like an Iltis kind of thing, although it's quite slow. 3 availability, so we'll get it. We can also get a Scott 2R2M. Scott R2M. And looks pretty beefy. Only 8 HP, but it is massive. It's got 2 armor. It's not got smoke. It's only 2 availability, so we'll just get the car. And we'll get rid of the CV Hilo. Inf tab, so we've got Polish PKMs. They have 4 strength. I believe that's an improvement. I don't know if that applies to all PKM teams, if they've all got 4 strength now. These are 2, so we now need to compare some other PKM teams. Yeah, it looks like they've all got 4 strength now. It used to be 3, so that's a buff to all PKM teams, and I assume all other... yeah, they're all 4 strength now. So that makes PKM teams a lot better, actually. A lot better. So we will bring 8 of these. Then we've got Druzina PP Ank. I can speak fluent Polish as a Polish individual, and this is clearly Panzerjäger of some description with 674 meters range instead of 675. Is that new in this patch as well? Have all... Yes. All RPGs have lost 1 meter range. All small arms appear to have lost 1 meter range against helicopters. Okay. You're not going to notice. That is interesting. Anyway, this is Panzerjäger. You can bring them in the Star Jeep. You can bring them in the Cop 2A, Scott 2A. So this is like a BTR 60 equivalent, I guess, BTR 70 equivalent. They look massive. I don't know how many people they can hold. Or you can get the Scott 2AM, which has a Malyutka on it. It does not, however, have smoke. So that is rough, because basically the Malyutka's lost 1 meter range as well. Oh, that's a very odd bug. I don't know, maybe by the time you get your hands on this, it'll be fixed. It's not exactly the end of the world, right? But yeah, you can get a Scott 2AM with Malyutkas on it. It doesn't have smoke, and it's quite pricey, so I don't really think it's worth the cost. Or you can get a BWP1. So this doesn't have smoke, but it's 25 points, and it's got 3 front armor. So that is interesting. So it's a BMP1, except W because it's Polish, and it doesn't have smoke. But in exchange, it's literally 10 points cheaper. Might even be 15 points cheaper. I gotta check again. I'm sorry, guys. BMP1. So, oh, okay. So yes, yeah. So this is 30, and the other was what, 15. That is big savings actually. Huge savings. No, it was 25. My bad. Not that big savings. So for our Panzerjäger ripoff, I mean, we might not even need them. So let's keep checking the rest of the division. We've got a CV here with 7 strength, only 2 availability. Let's have a look at all the CVs. This one doesn't have smoke, 6 strength, 5 points cheaper. It's got shock, that doesn't really matter. The Komar is a very bad RPG. Then we've got Paicho to Dao. They've got an SVD. They're 5 points more. But honestly, I like the idea of the smoke for 5 points. I think that's probably worth it, and the extra strength. So we'll be bringing these guys, and we'll just bring them in a car. So there you go. There's 2 CVs there. It's a shame it's only 2. But yeah, Paicho to ZMech we know from Rugener already, but in this div they've got the BWP1 transport option. I'll be honest, without smoke, it is pretty rough, but it's only 25 points. So let's bring it. So we'll bring 2 Paicho to ZMechs in BWP1s. And then you've got the Paicho to ZMech SVD. The SVD makes them a lot better. It's definitely worth those 5 points for the SVD, but you lose 2 availability. At all levels, I think. At all levels. So we'll bring the Paicho to ZMech SVD at 1 vet as well. Also in the BWP1. So the idea is we'll be spamming out these BWP1s, but they don't have smoke. So they will die fast. Next, Saperzi. Wow. That is a good squad. It's a good squad because they've got satchels and an RPG, although the RPG is very bad. Compare them to Saperzi Szczyzomi. My Polish is fluent. And they have a Reese. The Reese is a lot better than the RPO. It's also got 6 rounds. I can't remember how many the RPO has. So we'll definitely be bringing these guys. We'll bring them at 1 there. The Scott 2 has a Dushka on it. Okay, I mean, it's basically just a KPVT car, right? Except the Dushka instead of the KPVT. Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. It might be. It's faster than the car. We might as well bring it. SPG 9s are still kind of... I don't really think we'll need it. Although we don't actually have any Conkers in this division. Look how wide-eyed this man is. This man is very wide-eyed. Very wide-eyed man. So these aren't military police, are they? And then we've got Wusu. Wusu are military police and security. And they've got decent guns. And they seem to be like a pretty decent anti-inf squad. And they've got Wusu written on their armbands there, on their helmets. So we'll bring some Wusu. And they have to come in a truck. And then we've got Paichota. So they're like Paichota ZMech, except they've got 2 more guys for 10 points. This is 15 different. Oh, but that's 3 more guys. And an extra PKM. Oh, no, hang on. Paichota ZMech have 2 PKMs as well. 0.29. 0.15, yeah. They do. They do. Interesting. So you could get some wheeled infantry for your opener if you want it, but we've got the Wusu. So I don't really see the point. 10 points for 2 men is sort of normal these days, but I don't really think it's worth it, especially given that the transport is actually more expensive. The Scott 2A is more expensive. I mean, it is wheeled, and it's got a KPVT on it, so it is a pretty decent transport. And I don't see the point of the Paichota SVD, although they are 10 men instead of 7. So 10 men... They can be good, I guess. I don't know. I haven't played this div yet. Then we've got Commandosi, who you'll remember from real life, but also from Wargame Red Dragon, and you can bring it in the honker. I love being Polish. I love being Polish. Although that seems a bit Russian to me. That seems a little bit Russian to me, but whatever. Anyway, they've got smoke, they've got guns, right? Decent squad, special forces. We'll bring it at max vet because basically special forces benefit a lot more from increased veterancy. You see, like the stress resistance and everything goes up. And we could bring it in the Mi-8 rocket, so then we've therefore got 4 max vet rocket helicopters, which is not to be sniffed at. It does make our Commandosi very expensive. We'll cycle back to it. Then we definitely need this. It's got 2 AM. We'll just bring it in the UAS. And yeah, this isn't a military police transport. And there's only one card of that, so I think we need the SPG-9. Because how else are we supposed to deal with vehicles? I mean, this ain't great. We'll cycle back. We'll cycle back. Artillery tab. So we've got a 120mm mortar here. That's fair enough. And then we've got a 122mm howitzer. Nice snub-nosed thing. That's fair enough. Then we've got a 152mm howitzer, which is normal. It seems to have direct fire capability as well. And then we've got a Grad, 2 cards of Grad, and an RM was... What? Oh, this is an RM-70. And it carries a reload. It's carrying a reload there. So this is just an RM-70, yeah. But it's carrying a reload. And I'll be honest, mate. You're paying 20 points for a free reload, which is not inconsequential. 20 points for a free reload is not inconsequential. I mean, is it really worth it? I don't know. What I wanted to do was just... Because, like... 20 points for a free reload. In fact, yeah, it is. It's just 1 free reload. So, yeah, we might as well get one of those and one of these. And I've updated them so that they fire faster. You really don't... If you're playing team, you can bring 6 grads. Sure. But I don't need 6 grads. And then we'll bring mortars for smoke, and we'll bring it in the Scott too. So not only will it be wheeled, it will be armoured as well. So that's great news. And I'll be honest, I do kind of want some tubes, because I don't want to be firing grads at ATGM positions. But this is looking a bit hairy now, so we'll come back later. Then we've got some homos here. I have to call them that because of the sensor. Malyutka P. The Malyutka P has 1 more pen than the regular Malyutka. You see, this is 17, and this is 16. Or you can pay 15 points more and get Conkers. Which we will be doing. I think it's worth it. Is it? I mean, this carries 18 missiles. The accuracy is the same. I don't know. Well, yeah, we need Conkers because we don't have any in the Inf tab. So yeah, we're bringing that. And we'll bring one of these as well. One of these. Which one? I mean, this clearly has more range. You're paying for it, but if this gets in your backline, this is baller, I think. It's also faster, so yeah, we'll get that one. 85mm with 16 pen, and it's kinetic, so it'll go up, and it's got good stealth. So that might be decent fire support. 55 points, you can bring it with an MTLB. Yeah, let's bring it up that it wants. T55 add, so CV tank here. 16 pen, kinetic, T55As. We know these from all the other divs that get them. T55AS. It is a T55A with coffin launchers on it. Check that bad boy out. Check that bad boy out. So we want... it doesn't have smoke on it, though. But that is crazy. That is really crazy. Doesn't have smoke on it, but the fact that it's got these is actually pretty entertaining. So we'll bring one of those. Then we've got a Meridia command tank, which does have smoke on it, so we will be bringing that. Then we've got regular Meridias, which are probably my best tank. And then we've got Meridias with this thing on it. So we will bring this. Although, you don't want to be bringing tanks at no vet, ever. You literally never want to be bringing them at no vet. So that's only one thing. So I actually don't think it's worth it. Because you get 6 of these, and you get 1 of those. What? So we'll be bringing 6 of these. We're bringing 12 of these. And if we want funny coffin launcher memes, we've got the regular T-55. Because that's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So that's a pretty full tank tab. Maybe this is a tank division, although it doesn't come over to here. I guess it is just mech. And then, okay, so now we've got Zweidautki. So this is exceptional. To be honest, this is a steal. Because it's got an RPG and it's only 35. Actually, I guess it's the same as like Scouts, British Scouts or something. Then we've got Sappers, forward deployed. Oh yeah, this is another thing. We don't have any airborne forward deploy. Unless this is. No, none of it is. Okay. So at the start, we need to rush with something. And I guess it's going to be these guys. What is that? It is a boat. It's called a boar. Or we can get the Tri-Horse. Good optics. But, I mean, if we're doing a wheeled attack, we need speed. Although this is only 90. This is 100. This is 100 as well. That's actually not bad. Because it's got good optics, and so you can put it with you guys. Whoa, this is exceptional optics. Okay, well, we're definitely bringing that. BRDM2 has a very good, so I guess that's obviously better as well. Sapelzi, Zweidautzi, and Zweidautzi. So I'm sort of struggling to figure out what to bring here. These guys are just like a normal platoon of guys, except they are recon, which does give them a bit of an advantage in the opener. But I think I need these guys at the start, and I think I need to bring them in the fastest vehicle possible, just so I can get to positions. But then they're going to get bullied because they don't have RPGs, so I should probably bring these guys as well. And then I guess these guys in the honker. In the honker, you get the honker. Oh, interesting. Right, this has the Special Forces tag, which means it goes faster. The vehicle itself goes faster. So we should bring it in the vehicle. Well, I mean, they're both like that. But yeah, we'll bring it in this, and we'll put it in max vet. So these are our opener guys, which means we don't actually need these guys. So in terms of recon helos, this has auto cannons on it, and it's 60 points, and it's a recon helo. This is 40 points. And it's, for 20 more points we get the autocannon. I think that's probably worth it. Sometimes you need it. It depends what's in the helo tab. AA. So we've got Strela spelt wrong. Strela spelt in a Polish way. Interesting. Scott 2 AP can shoot at aircraft with a KPVT. I guess this thing goes all the way up, and then it can go doo, 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 doo. I guess that can work. So I kind of want to spam those, because that's hilarious. Especially like 2-1-2-4 against helicopters is actually consequential, because if you look at like this Scott 2, it's 1-2-2-4 against helicopters, so this is actually really interesting. It's also your only man pad, so I mean we'll get 8 of them. We'll see, because we're gonna have to take something out. This is in like KDA and stuff, but it's the Polish version. This is the same, but with Strelas strapped to it. I think it's too expensive for what it is. I mean, yeah. Then this is a 50... Oh, I see. This is the one that's in Rugener as well, so it's good against... It's actually got good stealth now. So it can fight against... and it's got its aim time came down from 3 seconds. So this can shoot everything. You definitely should be bringing this. Then this one's in Rugener as well, I think. Well, the general idea, ZU on a truck is in everything. This is the same ZU on a truck, but with the Strelas attached for 55 points. Then we've got a BRDM, but Polish. So BRDM Strela. Then we've got OSAs, but Polish. And OSAs got buffed, right? So we'll need some OSAs. That is a rough bet curve. We need more than 4 AA, right? I mean, I guess we could bring these. Because they're wheeled, right? They're reasonably fast. Well, so is this. But this is literally a third the price. And the accuracy ain't bad. Although the aircraft and, like, the aim time and stuff... Yeah, we'll just bring this. I mean, we now, like, we're basically out of slots. We're going to have to take something out. Helicopter tab. So this is the urn, but Polish. So it's like the urn in 6YA. Salamandra. That's interesting. It's got Maryukas on it. What does this have? Strelas and Maryuk. Whoa. But, I mean... AA helos in this game really don't work properly. They just die. Especially if they've only got 4 HP. So I don't really see the point in bringing that. So I'll just be bringing this. Then we've got helicopters. Good Wow, that carries a lot of rockets. 128. This carries 80 better ones. I'm not sure which one's better. You get 1 card of each. 2 W. It's got Kokons on it. Only 1 per card, though. I've got enough helicopters, I think. And now I don't have any points left for my air tab. What could I have brought? This is a MiG-23 MF. MiG-23 MF, but shotgun. This is a shotgun one for use against... oh no, hang on. This is only against air as well. So that's just worse in every way. It's just worse in every way, and it costs the same. Does Strike Team even play the game? It's just worse in every way, but it costs the same. I guess it's literally a case of if you need more fighters, you got to bring a worse one. But that definitely should be 165. Does Strike Team even play the game? Anyway, Cluster Plane. We've seen a lot of these, but this is the Polish version. And then AT Plane, we've seen a lot of these, but this is the Polish version. And HE, we've seen a lot of these, but this is the Polish version. So I would like the AT Plane. And potentially the HE Plane. But I need to buy points somewhere. So we'll get rid of... this. Why do we need it? What's it for? Fire support? Cheap fire support? But like... why? We've got the Maryukas and the Konkurs. I actually think we need to keep both of these. So we'll get rid of that. Artillery tab. Swap down to 1 Cardagrads. Because if you think about it, right, for a free reload for... well, I say free, you're paying for it. A reload for 20 points is not inconsequential. It's not inconsequential, but I do kind of want them upvetted, but obviously we can't afford everything. This is a pretty rough div. I mean, I've not played it yet, but I'm getting rough impressions. I feel like this is going to be quite a difficult game. Quite a difficult game. Like, because, yeah, we didn't need the anti-tank thing, because we got that run, right? And... yeah, we've got our funny tanks. I mean, I kind of want to do like an early game push with T-55As, but that would mean sacrificing something else here. We definitely need loads of ATGMs in this tab, because we just don't have any anywhere else. We could get rid of this. But going with that, well, I don't know. I mean, if we want to open, we've got 4 of these for the opener, but then we've only got 4 infantry recon. The slots, man, the slots, I'm struggling. We could get rid of some infantry, but then, like... oh, yeah, I mean, my commandosi are coming in this rocket thing, and I've got plenty... well, I got plenty of helicopters, so we could just put that in a car instead. We could put that in a honker, and then we don't have to pay so much for it. Oh, well, no, we'll keep it, I gotta get rid of something, man. I've only got 6 CVs, 3, 4, 5, 7. I got 7 CVs. I can get 2 planes for this, so we'll get a fighter and the AT plane. There you go, that's probably sufficient. And then, I mean, is this grad thing really worth it? Look, I'm paying 2 points for that. I could get... what could I get? I could get a helicopter. That's literally it. So I guess I'm paying 2 points for that. I'll be honest, the extra reload is great, but the fact that it's only like 1 and, well, whatever. Polska Górom. Today we're playing as Korpus Desantowy, which is Airborne Marine Poland. Polish Airborne Marine. I haven't played them yet, so we'll be taking a look. There is somebody waiting to play a game with me, so I'm going to have to rush through this a little bit. So I do apologise for that. So this is a forward deployed transport. Reminds me of the one that you can get with 35Y. Or you can get a boat transport. This carries 525 points. This carries 325 points. This carries 1555 points. So I'm going to be bringing 2 regular boats. The Zaup. No, they're all called Zaup. Zaup must be Polish for boat. This one I think is in Rugen or under a different skin. I feel like I've definitely seen this somewhere before. And yeah, we'll go for that. And then for CVs, this is 3 per card. It's 100 points, but it's 3 per card, so we'll go for that. And we might need this at 2 per card. This is only 2 per card, probably because it's forward deployed, right? And I don't care for it. Then we've got PKM team. PKM teams had their strength go up to 5, or the MMG teams did. Then you've got forward deployed PKM team. So what's actually happening here is you're getting, not only are you getting forward deployed, you're also getting a rank of veterancy for those 5 points. So you can bring 8 of these at 2 vet, whereas you can only bring 6 of these at 2 vet. So it can be useful. We'll bring it in. We'll get through the tab, right? I don't know what else is here. There's clearly a lot of words I can't pronounce, despite being Polish. I am Polish. Then we've got the Saperzy, so 55 points for forward deployed sappers. That's fairly normal. These Polish faces. I know lots of Polish people living in the UK. If you're not Pakistani, you're Polish, basically. Oh man, I'm gonna have to edit that part out. Flipping heck, I shouldn't have said that. So yeah, that's 9 guys. This is 3 guys with a flamethrower. I'd understand it if the availability was higher, but that's like not a lot of men. That's 18 men in a card. This is 54, right? So that is rough. Then we've got sappers with AT. Oh, they also have 2 more availability. Oh, but they're not actually forward deployed. Okay. I would like them, though. And we can bring them in the Topaz, which doesn't have smoke. Or we can bring them in the boat, which is faster. It's got something important there. It says important. It actually says it in English, which is interesting, given that everything else has been in Polish. I do wonder if that's on purpose. Maybe it's to fool enemies, right? Or you can get 9 men with a flamethrower. 9 men with 3 flamethrowers. That is one hell of a sapper squad. Whoa, 9 men with 3 flamethrowers. No AT like. So I'd like this, because this is a very decent men of the line squad. These guys are Marines, right? Beretti, Saperzi. So they're resolute, so we'll bring them in the boat, I guess. I would have bring the Topaz if it had smoke. It's just, you know, it doesn't. And we'll bring one of these because they look funny. Then we've got Druznia Papank, which are like Panzerjäger, basically. So forward deployed Panzerjäger could be useful. We don't actually have much forward deployed at the moment. We've got some forward deployed down there, so we'll get there. CVs, I skipped the CVs. Let's just have a look at all the CVs. So 6 men, 85 points, Komar, which is like quite a bad RPG. This is 30 points. I mean, this is just better. Obviously, it's only got 3 strength, but you don't really want these guys in combat anyway. They will die proper fast, but they've got the smoke. And, or you can pay 20 points more for 5 more men. That's definitely worth it, actually. On a CV squad, that's definitely worth it. Topaz 2 AP still doesn't have any smoke. But it's got a KPVT this time. So we'll bring him in the car. And, yeah, so I wanted this squad. In fact, we've already got one. I can bring a second one. I mean, it's just a very decent squad, but we've got a lot of guys, and we've got a lot of Marines. So this is 12 men with a not great rocket launcher, but 12 men for 80 points is pretty good, and resolute is actually really good, and you can bring them at 2 vet. So we'll be bringing that. We'll be bringing 2 of those if we can. Desan SPG-9 could be useful. Desan Bundle of Sticks. Oh, there's no Conkers. So I noticed this in the other Polish div as well. I think Poles were light on proper AT. You'll notice it seems to be like a racial weakness of Poles that they don't have good infantry AT. There's probably better ways of saying that. So between this one and this one, you might think 5 points for forward deployed. Will I need the forward deployed? The main advantage is you're also getting a rank of veterancy, which on an ATGM team is giving you 5% accuracy. So we're going to be bringing that. Then you've got Desan SPG-9, that's fairly standard. This one's just Polish, but it's the same as the rest. Ochrona, 9 men, military police, airborne security. Interesting. So actually, I would like a card of those because they're military police. I'm thinking, like, should I just double vet everything? Probably not, right? Probably not. So that's interesting. Military police squad, and then we've got Commandozi. So these guys are special forces. They're not actually that expensive, which is really interesting. They're only 60 points. So we'll be bringing them at 2 vets so we can buy as many as possible. Then we've got Spado Kroniazi, 6 men with smoke for 100 points over their airborne forward deployed. I mean, to be honest, I'm not paying 50 points to get truly a better RPG. Obviously, the caliber on the weapons is different, but it doesn't really matter. But it's basically the forward deployed you're paying for. Then we've got Spado Kroniazi, 9 men, 65 points with an RPG. In fact, that's actually pretty decent. Because of the SVD, it's actually pretty decent. And Metis, you obviously want the Metis squad, because that's good. Just Metis is good. And then PKM, so these guys have 3 PKMs. And they're actually less points than this. Probably because the RPG is worse. But yeah, I think that's our inf tab. I don't know if it's like meta. I'll be honest, maybe we should get rid of these so we can actually bring... Because I've noticed like we don't have good anti-tank, so we might want to swap this out for this and get 5-2 the SPG-9s. It could help us, because this can't shoot vehicles, right? So we'll go for that. Artillery tab. 82mm forward deployed mortar, 120mm not forward deployed mortar. Nebelwerfer. You get 4 of them in a card. Yeah, bro, we're bringing that. We're bringing that. Vasilisk in Polish, Wasilok. No, Vasilisk's so bad, don't bring him. Gwozdika in Polish, also known as the Go-To-Dzik. I do apologise to all brave Poles who have to put up with this for the next infinite time. Now that your divisions are in the game, you have to put up with this forever. Just me saying everything wrong. Grads. And then this is a Malka, right? A Pion, whatever you want to call it. So I would like 2 of those. And frankly, what I really want... I mean, do I... No, I want 1 of those, really, don't I? And then I can bring the grads. Well, no, because this is my grad. But then how do I smoke? I do need something for smoke. And I'm thinking 82mm mortars are great for smoke because they're cheaper. And you get more of them. And they fire faster. You can get the aim time down if you upvet it. You can still get 4. I'll go for that. It's pretty rough, though. Tank tab. Ah, he's waiting for me. I told him it'd take 20 minutes. It's been 8 minutes. Well, not really. It's been more like 10. Okay, so PT-76. I still think PT-76s in general are too expensive. These are in quite a few divisions. You don't really want this for 40 points. It's just not worth it. So I'd caution against that. This is obviously the Polish variant, but it's the same. It's just a different skin. Desan Thingy-mabob. Looks like we got no Conquerors at all. I'm thinking we're gonna need some of these guys because, like, how do we kill vehicles? Malyutka P. So the Malyutka P is better than the Malyutka regular because it's got 1 more pen, which means it one-shots 3 armoured vehicles. You're paying more for it, though. It's more expensive. It's faster. It's not got the forward deployment. It's got 18 missiles. So I actually want to bring both of those, but we might swap it out. ASU 85. Wow, they still have these. So this is obviously the CV variant. 6 armor, no smoke. No smoke. I don't see any smoke launchers. Yikes. And then regular ASU 85. So this is your assault weapon. This is your anti-infantry, your anti-tank. But like, I mean, it's got mediocre stealth, which is something, but 16 pen at 1900 range means it's not going to be able to shoot a lot of targets, right? It's only got 6 armor. It's not got smoke. So we'll bring a card of it. although I'm thinking we won't. T-55As, which aren't great. Uh, and frankly, I would be bringing it at max vet, but given the horrible state of this tank tab, I guess not. And then this is coffin launchers on a T-55, but it's really, really expensive for some reason. So we'll just be bringing that, but we might have to swap it out. We might have to lose something here. We might have to lose the coffin launchers. I mean, we've got artillery, right? We've got a funny artillery piece already. There's just not space for everything in here. There's just not space. Recon tab, snipers at max vet. Oh, they've got this thing off Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Then some sort of recon squad. You can bring them in helicopters with airborne forward deploy in a helicopter. We'll bring it. We'll try it. See if it works. Big recon tab here. BRDM2s. It's a shame that this tab is so full when there's not actually that much in here. PT-76s with good optics for 5 points more, and you're getting no, you're getting less availability. This thing, it's a bit of a weird one that this tab is so full. Like, would you actually even be able to fill it? Yeah, you would easily. And then these guys who are special forces, and they've got ground surveillance radar, so you definitely want to be bringing these bad boys. Although they're only 6 men with 6 little MGs. It's not looking great, dude. This div feels a little bit weak. So we'll bring the snipers, but we might have to get rid of them because we want planes and stuff, right? Right. So between these, you can get basically a free rank of vet for 5 points. It's not free; you're paying for it. Topaz Jod is a topaz with Strelas and ZUs on it. Might be useful actually, because I'm noticing our AA situation is not great. You can get a ZU on the ground. ZU on the ground with Strelas attached to it, and a Hippie KG, which is a car that oh, actually, so this is it airborne forward deployed? Oh, it would be good if it was. It would be good if it was, but the fact that this isn't is kind of rough actually, given that this is supposed to be an airborne division. Your forward deployed isn't going to be protected from AA because this isn't forward deployed. But this looks like something I should bring, and I'll be honest, mate, this is looking diabolical when it comes to AA. Oh man, we're running out of slots. I should probably, like, we don't have that many tanks, but we do have a lot of arty. We could get rid of one of these and downbed it, and there you go, we're saving 1 point. These divs are very specialized. There's no doubt about it. They're very specialized divs. These NORTHAG divs are very specialized. Helicopter tab. Okay, so this is where the magic happens, and the air tab is where the magic happens, but we don't have, well, I say that, we don't have the point slots, so we're going to have to get rid of something. We're going to get rid of this T-55AS, and we should probably get rid of this thing. But, I mean, then we just don't have any fire support. This is dire, mate. This is dire. It is dire. We could get rid of the sniper teams. We don't really need those. Anyway, so-called rocket. That's pretty cool. 6 armor, and it's got rockets. 100 points is a bit rough. So-called AA, but they're only Strelas. And it's got rockets. And it's the same price. We're bringing that one. And then you've got AT, AT2. Bigger rockets, but less of them. Same price. And then you've got the W, which has co-cons. You're probably going to need a W, given the absolutely diabolical state of your AA. Or you could use planes. You could rely on planes. So you might not need that, because instead you can literally get so many helicopters. Do you see what I mean? So, like, between these two, you know, this... You're paying 35 points for 2 more HP and faster speed and a phalanger, and, you know, and you've also actually got more rockets and stuff, so yeah, I think that's reasonable. Air tab, so AA2. Okay, we need to go through them one at a time. MiG-21 Bison AA, so that's radar apparently, but it's not very good. So it's not actually good against helicopters, and it's very expensive. Rocket thing. napalm thing. Between these, oh, so this is your shotgun fighter for helicopters. This is your ASF for actually hurting people. And then you've got cluster, AT, and seed. So we'll get the... Oh, man, I don't have any points. Where do all my points go? Right, so we're going to have to get rid of something here. We'll get rid of a pion. And that gives us 3. And that literally gives us 2 more planes. So that's probably worth it. And then like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... I need the ATGMs, right? Because we just don't get that many anywhere. I'm thinking I should get rid of this, but then my fire support's so little. What is this worth? 2. Okay, well that's another plane. So rather than get 3 of those, we could get another plane. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and then we'll have 1 AP spare, which I can put nowhere. This is rough, man. AT plane, seed plane. These are like in 4th, but these are the Polish skins. I'm sorry I don't spend too much time on it. I know that guy's waiting for me. Yeah, so I don't actually want another plane, frankly. We could get a bomber, but why? We could get this rocket plane, I guess. Because it's 3 per card. But they're not great, these rocket planes. They're not great. The alternative would be to get this and like shoot people with the gun, but I don't know about that at all. So for 3 points, I could probably get something useful, like some AA. That's not going to work. Like, what is going on with this div, man? You're so thin on the ground. I guess I need an extra card of I need 3 cards of fighters. I genuinely do, because we've just our AA situation is so utterly flamboyantly terrible. Right, so today, or whatever, depending on where you see this, we will be working on the Polish tank division 20 Division Pancerna, also known as Circle. I shall be calling it Circle from now on. Yeah, it's very similar to Square, which is the Polish mech division. So this is just a GAZ. You see it in most of the Eastern European divisions, or don't get me started. Don't get me started. We're Central Europe. The whole point is that Eastern Europe is meant to define the Eastern Bloc of nations. That's the whole point, right? That's why it's West and East, because it harks back to the Cold War, which this is a game about. So no, Poland is not Central Europe. It's made up. It's a made-up cope, because they hate everybody east of them. Anyway, I'm going to be bringing 2 cards of that. Then we've got this bigger one, which, you know, carries more supply, but it's more expensive. And if you want 3 cards of supply, this is a pretty good way of doing it. Or you could get a helo. But particularly, you know, if you're playing a 10v10, fob helo car is probably the way to do it, because the helo it actually can take things from A to B, right? So, is there something on my glasses? No, I don't think so. But for 1v1, I'm going to be bringing this. We've got quite generous slots here. This is a 3 availability CV. This is a tank div, so I'm just skipping ahead a bit. Yeah. You don't need that many CVs in here if we're going to be bringing all those tanks. Infantry tab, oof. Not fantastic. Not a lot of choice here. Sorry, I forgot to mention, so this is just a BMP1, but Polish. And this is just a BRDM2, but Polish, right? There's not actually any new units here. This is just an MI8, but Polish. This is just this might be new, actually. I've not seen this truck. But yeah, maybe I have. They're all just the same, but with a Polish skin. Then you've got a PKM team. This is Mad Matt, by the way. This is the guy who makes the game. He put himself as a unit icon. Apparently, it's a long-running tradition. So you can bring the CV leader, and you can be Mad Matt. I guess he's not actually here, but he's definitely on the unit card. That is basically what he looks like. And he confirmed it. Somebody asked him. Anyway, PKMs could be useful, but you don't have a lot of slots here. Then you've got Pychota Zedmech CV, which is already in Rugener. You've seen this before, and you can get it in a BMP1. Which is only 20, so but it's the Polish one. W stands for Where's the Smoke? So it's BWP1. W stands for Where's the Smoke? Because look, it's got no smoke. It's 25 points, which is nice and cheap, but it ain't got no smoke. And the BWP2 is a BMP2, and that thankfully does have smoke, and it's literally just a stat clone of the regular BMP2, except it's got a Polish skin. So that's fair enough. So then Pycho to ZMech only come in BMP1s. Interesting. So 7 men, PKM, etc. The thing is, right, great, you know, you get quite a lot of them. You're getting 2 more than this at the same vet. But this comes with BMP2s. So you'd want 2 cards of this, I reckon. But you lose so many by upvetting. Losing 3 is rough. Like, if you think about the like Motostrelki in the Russian BMP2s, it goes 9, 6, 4 or something like that. Whereas this is 8, 5, 3, so you lose a lot more. So you don't get as many BMP2s. Oh yikes! Something has happened to me. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was, to tell you the truth. Yeah, so that is rough. But you do need your BMP2s. And then you've got Dow Saperzi. These are also in square, so it's just another CV. And between the CVs, you know, this is 6 strength, this is 7 strength. So for those 5 extra points, it's definitely worth it, because you get an extra, you get Smoke Grenade, which can really save you for 5 points. And the availability is the same. And the 1 more strength, it's definitely worth it. Probably, definitely. Anyway, Saperzi, which they're also in square. And I hopefully covered square first. Hopefully see what order these end up being in. But these can come in the Scott 2, which is like a BTR 60 but Polish, so it's like very long. I don't know. 2 front armor, 1 side armor, 25 points, or the Scott 2A, which has the advantage of a KPVT is better than a Dushka. This is a 50 cal, and this is a above 50 cal. For 5 points more, you get an above 50 cal. I don't really think it's worth it. Anyway, I would be bringing these guys in the cars, because what do I need these for? They can be useful, actually, for fire support. But it's 5 points more. Well, it's faster on the road. We'll bring it. Then Saperzi Sturmowy, and these guys have a Reese, which makes them very good. So the Reese is decent, although Reese's Pieces doesn't have an AET, whereas these guys do. So I'm tempted to bring both. And yeah, I don't see the... If this had smoke, it would be great, but I understand why it's more expensive, but I just don't really think it's worth it. Don't think the additional power of 0.04 HE per shot is, and a PKT, which, you know, would contribute a lot, is worth it, really. So, SPG-9s, and I think we're going to need them, because I've noticed there's no Conkers here. And the WSU, so we've covered the WSU, the military police security, 9 men, pretty decent squad, all things considered. I'm just noticing a pretty significant lack of infantry AT and stuff like that. Like, this is your best infantry AT, and it's 14 pen. And then, like, this is your ATGM, and it's 17, and that's your best one. So yeah, it's going to be, like, so once you enter a forest, you're just going to get beaten up by vehicles. So that is rough. I guess the Pycho to ZMech would contribute their RPGs, right? And I'll leave this one blank because it's a 3-point slot, but we'll see if I need it. Like, it might be a case that I definitely need... It's kind of weird how these cost the same, even though this... Well, okay, because this has a rocket launcher. Yeah, okay. Because, yeah, these have rocket launchers, so you send this and this together into the forest, I suppose. Artillery tab, 120mm, the Soviet one, or the East German one, I guess. Yeah, exciting. It's got a longer aim time than the Soviet one, because it's East German, or Polish in this case. Then the Gwozdika, but in Polish. So we saw this in square as well, I think. Although this isn't... It says it's not in square, which is weird. Then the Dana, which is what we actually want. So this thing is pretty cool. So wheeled heavy howitzers, so it can zip around quite quickly. And so I think that is worth bringing in 2v2, whatever. Bring in 4 of them can be good, but in 1v1, you don't really need more than 2. And then you can bring 2 cards of grads as well, so that's pretty decent. So you could hypothetically get loads, you could get like another card of supply actually. And then you could bring the grads. But then I also need a mortar for smoke. So this is starting to get a bit silly now because that's also 3-point slot. Bring it in the armored transport because this will save you from counter battery when you load it up. It will, and it's faster as well. And you know it's got the armor, faster on the road, faster off road. So bring it in the armored transport. But yeah, now we're pretty full up on this tab. It might be there's a very easy way to save 3 points here, and that would be don't upvet these, or don't upvet these, and then you would save 5 points by not upvetting either of these. So let's save 5 points and see where we can use it, and we can always come back. Tank tab, so very generous slots here, and we've got a Malyutka P, and that's our only ATGM carrier, and given the lack of good ATGMs, I think we definitely need to be bringing these. T55 AD, so that's the Polish T55. I believe it's a stat clone of the one that East Germany get, one of the ones that East Germany gets, T55A, which is definitely a stat clone of the one East Germany gets. We saw this on the other 2 divisions we covered, the Mech Marine and the Square. And it can be useful for an opener. Then the AS, which honestly I think the availability is a bit too low on this. But it's basically an RT piece as well. So I'll be bringing it at no vet so that I can get as many RT pieces as possible. T72MD doesn't have smoke. This one does. What's my CV sitch like? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, T72M and then T72M1. So these are in East Germany as well. I think they're the same, but they're Polish in nature, right? This has smoke. I'd be hesitant to bring the one without smoke, to tell you the truth. Yeah, T72M1 there's 2 more armor and the smoke is very useful, and for 15 points more, it's definitely worth bringing this. Ooh, that's nice. 4 at 1 vet. This is 5 at 1 vet, okay. And then the Wilk. The T72M2 Wilk. So the Wilk did make it into the game. I thought it would be out of time frame, the Wilk, but here it is in all its splendor. 3 per card at 1 vet. Sadly, you only get 1 card, which is really depressing. And yeah, you can't be bringing it at no vet. Keep in mind that these tanks, unlike the East German ones, aren't resolute. So you'll notice that they lose cohesion faster. You'll also notice that the WSU don't have a military police transport. So you can't follow around your tanks with a military police transport because it doesn't exist. So yeah, we'll be bringing the Wilk. And look at those stats. It's like a Chieftain Mark 11, but better. It's also more expensive, so, you know, you're paying for it. And then as many of these as we can afford. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So then you're forced to bring the ones that don't have... That's rough, dude. Then you're forced to bring the ones that don't have smoke. Which I guess is done on purpose, right? I think this might be a bit too pricey, to tell you the truth, but we'll be bringing at least 1 card of those. And we might, I mean, I don't really want to bring it at no vet because you can't smoke them back. So you get low cohesion and you can't smoke. And then you just very, very, very slowly turn and die. So we'll be bringing it at 1 vet and just hope we don't need it. Recon tab. So we've seen these guys in square as well. Yeah, it's just scouts, except they've got... It's like British scouts, but with a better RPG. But one of their weapons is an SMG. Then sappers, who are also in square. Sorry, let's talk about the transports. Just UAZ, boat UAZ, which is in East Germany as well. I believe this thing, the SPW Fug or whatever it's called. And you can bring them in helis. Then you can get the same here. NSVT. and smoke. And good optics. You know, it's not a bad idea. But at the start, you want things to get to places fast, right? And this ain't doing that. This is 90 kilometers an hour, a boat. It's in all the other divs, all the other Polish divs. And then 7 strength, 50 points, recon, BWP 1. I think these guys might be 5 points overpriced, to tell you the truth, but it's not the end of the world. And the Resvedka BMP 1 is not really worth it in my opinion. But the thing is, you don't get a lot of infantry. So, and you do get nice slots here. So I'm actually going to be bringing both of these just for the infantry. And yeah, we'll be bringing this in the bore. In case, because if you want to open... Well, okay, I guess we could open with these guys. We could open with the RPGs if we need to open. Although I'm seeing more infantry down here, so Recon Helo can be useful, 4 PKTs on it. Interesting. That's in square as well. These guys are new for Circle Div. 3 men with GSR. And they come in the Honker Reese, which is Special Forces, which means it goes faster. As does this other one. So, you know, the Special Forces transports can be good. Like, you don't want to be bringing it in this. Well, it is cheaper. Yeah, the Honker Reese, because it's Special Forces, you know, it can be good. And then you've got Rozp Specialny, which are 4 men with a... Oh, the best RPG Poland has to offer. We finally found an 18-pen RPG. Sadly, it's in the Recon tab, when you got 6 of them. And they're only 4 men. But they can be very useful in the opener. It's a shame they're not Airborne forward deployed, but, you know, we'll take it. So you got to get that for the opener, and then the GSR could be useful. But what I really want is this, because this is ground surveillance radar. This is exceptional optics, and you put it with your tanks, and then your tanks get exceptional optics. So that's what I want. And if I need to get rid of anything, I'll get rid of probably this one, given that these guys. Sorry, probably this one, given that these guys have RPGs anyway, and these guys have satchels, and they would complement each other in the opener if you really needed them to. AA tab. Sorry, I always skip to the bottom. So this is very similar to DDR AA tabs, but it's just got a Polish skin on it. So these are Strelas. Open them once. ZUs. You see these everywhere. Then the Polish ZU, which has a Strela on it, for I mean 15 points more for the Strela is rough. Especially given that the availability is lower as well. It's sort of like a double nerf. Then you've got the Shilka in Polish, so it's the Zilka, maybe. And that's for helicopters, but this is also for helicopters, and it's actually got the range, because this is just a Strela 10M, but it's Polish, so it's a Strzelala 10M. So we'll bring that, and you get 2 cards of Cubs, which is, in team games, really going to help you, but for 1v1 you really only need 1. So that's my AA tab. Helo tab. Salamanders. So this is just an ATGM helo, cheap, abundant ATGM helo, although the Malyuka's not fantastic. Then you get Phalangers and Phalangers. And I'd rather have, honestly, like the 80 rockets or 128 rockets. I mean, I need to do a test and figure out which is better, basically, because obviously you want to get 80 of these, you get 128 of these, but this fires slower and the boom is bigger, and I don't know. Just bring them both, whatever. But then, yeah, I don't have an air tap, so we can't be doing that. So that's 3 points, and we already cut these out. So I might have to get rid of one of these. And I would get rid of the RPG one, because we've got these guys anyway for opener RPGs, so we've got these guys for opener infantry fights, so we don't need these, and that gives me 3 points. And then we're going into the air tab, so we've got a MiG-21 Bison rocket, which I personally don't like. MiG-21 Bison HE, just like the 4th Mott Shotson one, but in this beautiful Polish white and red camouflage. Well, I don't know about camouflage, and look, they've drawn some eyes on it. And then I'm noticing a severe lack of good ASFs, so this is MiG-21 Bison AA, but this is an anti-aircraft missile, and then the AA-2, and this is an anti-helo missile. So this is your helo hunter, and this is quote-unquote your ASF, but the range is not that great. The availability is quite nice. 4-2-1 is crazy. If it went 4-3-2, then you'd always max vet it, actually, so I'm not... I think I need as many of these as I can get because they're just gonna die constantly, and I need to kill planes. Obviously, we've got the books. Like, I could bring 2 cards of books, but I think 4 for a 1v1 is more than sufficient. For a team game, 2 cards makes a lot of sense because you're gonna lose more of your books, and you might have to cover your teammates, stuff like that. Here's a rocket plane, which is like this rocket plane, but costs more, but has 20% more ECM and 2 more HP and missiles. So this might actually be worth bringing, especially given that you don't have a proper bomber. I mean, I guess this is your proper bomber. And this is actually more expensive than this, even though it dies easy. We'll try it. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this at all. I know why it's cheaper. It's because it's worse. And the payload is so much worse. These 4 rockets, they're just not great. Anyway, 80 missiles, and we will be bringing some 80 missiles. But generally, this is clearly not an air div. It's clearly a tank div. And we could even, you know, start doing zany things like getting rid of some of these, but we're not going to be getting rid of them out because we need them. We spoke about this. I've got 2 grads and 2 danners and 4 cards of supply. We don't have a lot of infantry, but we supplement it a bit in the recon tab, but generally we just don't have a lot of infantry. I might actually have to down vet the BMP2s so that I get 6 more. I actually think I should in this case. And we'll see how that goes for us. Obviously, it makes them a lot worse. No vet infantry is trash. It is trash. No vet infantry is trash. But I'm just going to run out of infantry. The fact of the matter is I'm getting these for the BMP2s with the ATGMs. And I can always put a military police with my no vet infantry and hopefully it will make it a bit better. We're just struggling here. The div has weaknesses. What can I say? That's a good thing. Right, so here I am making a deck for 25th. And I don't know what to expect, so we'll have a go. This is a Soviet T-64 division. Interesting. So we've seen this one before. It's in everything. It's a Ural supply. We've seen this one before. It's in quite a lot of divisions, including 6th. I want 3 cards of supply. I always want 3 cards of supply. This is a 3 availability CV, so we'll get 2 of those. Although this is a 3-point slot, and I'm starting to think tank CVs are going to be the aim of the game, so let's get rid of that. There's actually no new units here at all in this tab. Not a single one. That's Soviet standardization for you. They actually wanted to win, whereas NATO just wanted to pad out their MICs, right? Wow, there's no new units here either. Blimey, what a div. So Commandatura with the military police vehicle is extremely useful because the military police vehicle will auto sell, right? But if you remember to turn that off, you can put it in with your tanks, and then you'll get loads of tanks, right? You'll get loads of suppression regeneration on your tanks. NSV, we've seen this before. The 30mm, I don't know if it's been buffed again, but with this having 8 availability, this is just better. The thing is, we've literally got no imp slots, so I don't really think we can afford these sorts of things. So we're going to have to down vet. Man, that's rough, dude. Or we could literally just bring BMP2. BMP1 conquers. The thing is, right, if it was only 5 points more, it would be worth it 100% of the time. So then it's 10 points more. It's kind of hard to justify because for 10 points more than that, you get a BMP2. So we would like some BMP2s. But yeah, we don't really have a lot of infantry. So I'm thinking we'll skip the ATGM thing. We'll get a Pull Me Cheeky. And we'll get some sappers. And man, that's rough on the... You gotta watch out. If you click 2 of these, it defaults to the default transport, right? This is a really rough infantry tab, man. I'm thinking I just have to down vet everything. I actually don't think I can afford to up vet at all, so we just got to accept that our infantry is very bad. So these don't even come in BTR 60s. That is really rough. I think for team games this would work fine because you literally just always bring the military police, because the military police car, you put it with your stuff, it just gives it suppression regeneration. It's so useful. But then you're just 4 cards of BMP2 at 1 vet, and then you wouldn't run out. And then you just play in the open. Whereas if you're playing 1v1, you're sort of forced to, you need these things. You need regular infantry in a wheeled transport. You need a defensive unit. You need sappers, right? So it's pretty rough, dude. Artillery tab. This is looking a lot more generous. So we get the 120mm. The Gvozdika. Never bring the Gvozdika until they fix 120mm artilleries. Howitzers. 120mm mortars are good. You should always be bringing those if you can. For smoke, the HE capacity of them isn't great, but the smoke is the main thing. And then regular Acacia, and then this looks new. Mr. S, wow. This is this in time frame? I'm not complaining. It's got a... I don't know what that is. But yeah, that looks cool. What's the difference between that and the Gyatsin, though? The Gyatsin is better. Well, that's a shame. I mean... Well, how is the Gyatsin better, actually? It's worse, right? No, the thing I was looking at was the range. The range. The range is 28 kilometers. So that means it'll have a tighter dispersion circle. The thing is, the one top armor is actually really useful because it makes it almost invincible to counter battery. So it would make sense to bring that, and you get 2 cards of grad. So this is definitely a team game kind of division, because you can bring the fob, you can bring all the supply, and then you can just spam out your arty, and then you've got all your tanks, and then you just bring BMP2s and 1 card of this. So this is a really effective team game deck, but for 1v1 it's kind of a bit lacking. But yeah, you could bring the two grads at 1 vet, and you could bring a card of Mr. S. It's a lot of arty for a 1v1, really. It's a lot of arty for a 1v1. Tank tab, T64A. It's got very high pen. Wow, for 1v1, this would be great in the opener. Because it's got such high pen. You treat it like a chieftain. In fact, Chief Dane Mark 9. T64. There you go. So for 10 points more, it is just way better. Way better. It's got 4 more armor. It's got... it does have 1 pip less range, which is substantial, actually. But it's got the same pen, because the range goes up by... the pen goes up by 1 per 175 meters. So the pen at the same range is the same. The accuracy is lower, but the fire rate is literally 10. And it's got the NSVTs, the PKTs, it's 10 kilometers an hour faster. It's got way more armor, which is just so useful. So yeah, this is a crazy card. You'd be remiss not to bring this. Sadly, it's only 1. But yeah, for the opener, the thing is, upvetting an auto-loader and losing so much availability is often not worth it, really. In fact, you may even be tempted to leave this at no vet, so you can just spam them out all game because they are so cheap. The thing is, you've got so many tank slots here that you probably don't have to do that. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The difference between these two is the BVK has ERA for 10 points. Get that? Oh, okay. I just have to do a small cut here because I have to go play a 3v3. Right, sorry about that. I just played an absolutely hilarious 3v3 on one of the new maps. If you remember, you'll probably get it at roughly the same time this comes out. Otherwise, if you wait long enough, you'll eventually find out what I'm talking about. I don't even know what order these videos are going to come out. You might have already seen it. But if you're watching this in the thing that just has all the deck builds together, you can check the description. It'll be linked there. It'll be under 9th Motorised USA. So how far did we get on this deck build? We built this. We're very struggling for infantry. We've got the grads. We've got the misters. And yeah, certainly for team play, you can get 4 grads, 4 misters, and 2 Giatsins, and the fob and all this supply. So it's going to be. Oh wait, I've just realised I'm talking in Discord. I'm very stupid. No, I've muted myself. My bad. So, tanks. You get lots of tanks. The T64 BK for 10 points less. You get 1 less HP. I think it's worth it. Honestly, ERA is like, if you're actually against tandem missiles, ERA is a detriment. It will make you die faster. And so having to pay for it is not fantastic. So, yeah, what can I say? What can I say? We want to spam tanks. I'm still holding this push to talk button. It's just a nervous tick, whatever. So we want loads of tanks. I mean, this one is... the thing is, it doesn't get the ATGM, but having 6, 7, 8, 9 tanks is really not so bad. 9 CVs is not a bad thing. For 1v1, it can be very useful, and it allows you to use these aggressively, because you're not afraid of them dying. Anyway, T64B1, this is a new one, so if you compare it to the B, it's not got the Cobras, which is a big deal. 20 points for the Cobra, which lets you outrange enemy tanks, is a big deal. 20 points is probably... I think it's reasonably priced, actually. But looking at the availabilities, yeah, you get 1 more of these, so maybe it is worth getting. But, yeah, I mean, it's basically like a Chieftain, but it shoots faster. Chieftain Mark 18, if you compare it. But, yeah, it's great. I keep saying but. Great to see some new tanks, you know. It's a shame that all the T64s have like the same pen and all this, although this one seems to punch above its... Like the OBR 83 seems to have worse pen. But yeah, in terms of spamming things, they're all less than 260 points a minute. So the difference becomes less marked. Then like this one's cheaper than that one. Oh, the B1V doesn't have ATGMs either. Honestly, the momentum, 20 points per tank, is not really that much, because basically you're buying one of these a minute anyway, because they're not, you know, they're just under 260. So you might as well buy the one that's right under 260. Although, you know, if you buy 2 of these, then you could get supply and all this. So, to be honest, you can just bring them all. You can bring 1 of each if you want. So what's the difference here? 10 points for ERA and a better ATGM. It's probably not worth it, actually. And this is 10 points for an ATGM. So this is probably a better shout than the BV. Honestly, it probably is. Because the guns are the same, and you're getting more availability per card. You can actually afford to 2-vet these. Yeah. You can actually... Wow. Yeah, I mean, who cares about the ATGMs, bro? If you're getting an extra rank of vet, or an ATGM, and it's 20 points cheaper. You know, I've got all that vet, bro. You probably don't even need the ATGM tanks. You could... The thing is, if you actually want to fill this, whatever, we'll try it without the ATGM tanks, just because it's easier for me to remember when I'm playing the game. Or does this have them? The T64B does have them. I mean, all the tanks have such similar names. It's very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to remember. At the very least, the ones that are in red don't have the ATGMs, but this one's orange and it does, and this one's yellow and it doesn't. So this one looks like that one, and they're all Soviet standardization. I can't hack it. So, and then you get T64 Svedka tanks as well. Great. So everything else here you've seen, right? Except the MAV transport, I suppose, which is an amphib boat thing. Seems to have the same speed as the car. Is it sellable? It probably is. And it's the same price. So yeah, you bring the MAV if you want that. Razvedka BMP2s. It's an expensive card, like. It's an expensive card, like, but you can just get so many of them. I mean... Like, look how good the recon's... This is, like, in team, this div is cracked. In 1v1, you are suffering from a serious lack of infantry, but in team, it's really not bad. And I'll be honest, bring that in the Razvedka BMP2 and just bring in this in the Gaz, and this will supplement our infantry. It's a shame there's only 2 of them, but it will supplement our infantry. I'm actually going to bring them at no vet, because vet doesn't help the rocket. Oh, you could bring it in a rocket thing and then get 6 rocket. Well, you got plenty of helos here. So, I might not bring this at all. Just so I can get crazy amounts of infantry, although, well, whatever. So there you go. Now we've got plenty of infantry, and we'll bring the BRM-1 because we'll put this with our tanks with its exceptional optics. And we don't have a recon helo. The Schmel can be very, very useful. This thing's only 1 per card, which is really annoying. It's got pretty crazy guns on it, but we might. No, 3-point slots can't do it. Cubs, yeah, you need the Cubs. And the Breuser, honestly, is just so bad that you just bring the Strel 10M instead and get the Iglas if we can afford them. Helo tab. Rockets. AA. Yes, we can do that. Rockets. Probably can't fit it in, to tell you the truth, because we've also got an air tab. So, yeah, I'm liking this div. I think it's a lot of fun. I've not played it yet. I might change my mind. More points for fewer rockets, but more Kokons. I mean, this is better, but you only get 1. So we're going easy on the helos, I guess. We can get like 2 rocket helos, although they're really not very good. Air tab, SUs, yes. MiG-29 is... It's worth paying the 30 extra points for the extra missiles, I think. Although the agility's better. I don't know if that actually does anything. The ECM's better. The rocket SU might be useful. It's kind of weird how this... Ooh, it's got extra rockets, but it's only 2 availability, which I think is a big shame. I'd rather get the one that's 3 availability 100% of the time. And... So this will also shoot enemy tanks, I guess. I mean, if I... So I want a seed, because that really helps if you can fit it in. But I need this for tanks, and then I can't really fit in the seed. I need 1 slot somewhere. But where? I could honestly not bring the CV tank. One of these CV tanks I could not... Yeah, one of these tanks in general I could just not bring. Although 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 15. Like, this should be at Novet because it's cheap. That goes 4-2. Paying 10 points for ERA. I'm not paying 10 points for ERA. We're just... Oh, that's only a 1-point slot. I want my tanks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 16. And then all the CV tanks. Yeah, I've got plenty of tanks. And then you can get the seed. So there you go. That's my 25 YA deck. And it's built for 1v1, even though the deck is clearly a team-focused deck. If you were playing team, you'd want more arty if you're a 10v10 player. And definitely all the tanks. And just forget about the air and forget, you'd get rid of these 2 and just buy more BMP2s. Really, really interesting div. Can't wait to see how it plays. So here I am building 9th Panzer Division, which I believe is the best 1v1 division out of all the NORTHAG divs. It is the most well-rounded. It doesn't have any major weaknesses, but I haven't built the deck yet, so let's see what we discover. First of all, you've got the Ural. This is in all the East German divs, or almost all of them. Like it's not in 4th, for example. So that's a decent supply card. Then you've got the T815 munitions. This is 3,000 supply. And the thing is that because you only have 1 card of this, you're sort of forced, if you want 3 cards of supply, you're sort of forced to bring these. And you got to keep them very safe, because they're very, 3,000 supply in one thing. You're going to lose half your card if it dies. So basically, you would not sell these. You would just send them back and forth to one of these, which you'd have behind the lines. So that is a small weakness, but trust me, not a big deal. Then you can get this, which is a 3 availability CV. In fact, they're all 3 availability, which is really crazy. There's probably no point paying 5 points for 2 armor. It's not really worth it. And yeah, like obviously this is also faster, so you might as well get this. And given that it's a tank div, probably this is sufficient. Inf tab, you get a fairly. It's just a standard tank inf tab. You don't have a lot of choices. Well, in fact, this is like really rough on choices, but I mean in terms of the slots availabilities, right? So the only new thing in this tab is this vehicle. Everything else you've already seen. PKM team, right? 30mm team. You can bring lots of them. PKM teams are now 4 strength. I keep saying that. Probably can't afford an infantry CV here, given you don't have that many slots. But there you go, Motorised and Führer. And we've got our first new transport, the SPZ BMP-1PD, which has a Conkers instead of a bundle of sticks, instead of a Malyutka. But at this point, you're paying 20 points for 4 pen. So I do not think it is worth it. But if this was 45, then there'd be no point of this. But, like, literally, this should not be 10 points more than that, really. It should not be 10 points more than that. It should be perhaps 5 points more. And then this could be 10 points more. Oh, well, no, if it was 10 points more, you'd always bring it. So 15 points more, I think, would be preferable. I can hear streaming sounds. Yeah, very exciting. So, I mean, paying 20 points for literally 1.5 times the cost of this would actually be 45. So it's more like 1.7 times the cost or something, 1.6 times the cost for the Conkers. I mean, don't get me wrong, Conkers are great, but I don't really think it's worth it, to tell you the truth. It might be, I might just be wronger. But I'd rather go for saturation attacks. Having said that, it's just the CV, which we're not bringing. So off to the Motorised, and you've got standard Motorised, which are in Enforcer and everything. Very, very good squad for 45 points because of the Resolute trait. They've got 2 of the best MG in the game. I might as well talk about that. MGs are divided into categories. Magazine-fed MGs. I mean, it might have changed since I last looked at it, but magazine-fed MGs are better, and 7.62 MGs are better. At least they used to be. Maybe it's different now. So you could bring these, or you could get Motorised and RPG-27, which come with a BMP-2. So we definitely want 2 cards of that for the BMP-2. And it is a German BMP-2. It's like basically there was only 2 divisions which had BMP-2s, or maybe there was only one. I mean, yeah, I think there was only one, and it's this one. so there you go. And then if you want infantry for like fighting people in town, obviously this has a really good RPG as well. For 50 points, this is better than rifles, British rifles. For 4, because they've got 1 less guy, but they've got Resolute, they've got better MGs, and they've got a better RPG because it's got 1 more pen, which means you can one-shot 7 armor vehicles, which there actually aren't that many of these days, but this is a very decent card. So you should bring as many of those as you possibly can. And then if you want to fight in towns and stuff, you bring some Motorised. And of course the Pioneers, which you can get in SPW-70s if you want. Which we will do, because I like the SPW-70. It's got KPVT, it's got Resolute, it's got 2 armor, it's fast. It's just 30 points, right? You're paying for it, but I like it. And the Pioneer Flam, just simply because I can't get 2 cards of regular Pioneers. So in forests, the flamethrowers are better. Sorry, I'm just like really itchy all the time. I think it's some sort of allergic reaction to hard work, because I'm doing the PhD. I'm allergic to hard work, Anyway. 4 Avail is not fab, but, we do what we can. And then there's no Conkers, so we'll bring this, and we'll see if we need the extra slot. Artillery tab. So this is the really funny one. 345 point Napalm RM70 is actually really good. Thankfully, they only get 1. But you'll see that the reload time is very, very, very high. You can also get regular RM70s. I would just bring 1 of these because for 1v1, you don't need that much rocket arty, right? Especially with only 3 cards of supply with a bunch of tanks that you're going to have to repair. Then I will bring howitzers and a mortar for smoke. Always get the mortar in the MTLB if you can, because it's not only is it cheaper, it is slower, but it will save you from counter battery, because when you load this into there, all of a sudden this is the HP pool, even though this is like stuck to the outside, it doesn't matter anymore. This becomes the HP pool, and this is actually reasonably difficult to kill with howitzers, whereas this has 2 strength, it's just 2 guys, right? So this might be excessive, but I like the idea behind the 2 RM70s, and you really do need the Acacias, or as the Germans like to call them, the SFL-H2S3M 152mm. So much for German efficiency. Malyutka P, you've seen this all over the place. It's got 17 pen, unlike the Malyutkas on this, for example, only has 16. So, yeah, just worth keeping that in mind, that this is better. But for 30 more points, you get a Kokon. Like, this is in 39Y as well. This is just the East German version. I'll definitely be bringing this. We'll see if we need this. The Kokon is really fast, and it can very much help you in these tank fights, especially if you have T-72s that don't have max range. So we'll just bring it and see if we can get rid of it later. And then in terms of CVs, we need more CVs. So between these 2 tank CVs, one of them for 25 more points has 2 more armor. For 25 points for 2 armor. The thing is, 17 armor, can that survive a 30 AP missile? A 30 heat AP missile? I don't think it can. And the way we can check is you can just, I'll just edit this part out, right? I can go to game knowledge in the WarYes Discord. I do recommend you do this. I'll just edit this part out anyway, so you're not going to see this. Where the heck is it? I can't find it. Where'd he put it? Where'd he put it? I can't see it. Oh, I'm going to have to actually edit it out. There it is, game knowledge. So, and here, Nalid has written up a bunch of game knowledge about the game. And if you just scroll all the way to the top, it's got a thing, you know. Anyway, so damage table for heat rounds, right? AP 30. Most AT planes have 30 AP. Armor 17. It does 9 damage with 17 armor. So this will survive a 30 AP missile, which honestly they're everywhere. Here's one. They're literally everywhere. So many of them just have 30 AP. I don't understand why they're all the same, but you should get this. Although you can only get 1 card, so you have to bring this as well. So now we've got 7 CVs. Then we've got the first new tank, the T-72 MUV-2, which still gets one-shot by a 30 AP missile because it has 16 armor. And if we go back to our damage table, or Nalid's damage table, you'll see 17 armor is 9 damage. The 16 armor is 10, so this will get one-shot by a Maverick. Or you could pay 5 points more to not get one-shot by a Maverick, which I assure you is worth it. You lose in availability, but I assure you it is worth it to not get one-shot by a Maverick. I assure you it is worth it. Then, sorry, wait, this is another new tank, I guess. No, it's not. This one's in 7th. So, you know, for 5 points, for 1 armor, you might think the extra availability is worth it. Who cares about 1 armor? But this is taking you over an extremely important threshold, which will save you from most of the AT missiles in the game. I'll actually just drive this point home a little bit forwarder. Sorry for the edit, I accidentally muted myself because the closing square bracket here is the mute button. So I spoke for like another 20 minutes muted. But anyway, here are your planes. 30 AP, 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 30 AP. 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP, 30 AP. So, with that in mind, every single plane-launched ATGM is 30 AP. You want to bring the one that has 17 armor, because that will keep you alive, as you will see when we go to game knowledge. 17 armor, 9 damage. That's the cutoff. You want 17 armor for 9 damage, so you survive because you have 10 HP. Whereas these will die in 1 hit. Now, having said that, this is a 1 AP slot. So you could bring 3 of these in case you really need them, or you could bring 2 more tank CVs and just get rid of this. and just only have tank CVs, which could be worth it because this is 3 availability. Having said that, that does make your CVs very expensive, especially for the opener. You're going to be behind all game if you do that, so probably not worth it as much as you think it might be. And you could you could just get these at max vet, or you could just literally just be the CV man, because between these two you're paying 20 points for it to be a CV, although you're losing armor. And that way you can have lots of CVs going around, so you've got 6, 9 CVs. Why not? Why not? Recon tab. So MI2, you've seen this everywhere in these German divisions. Everybody's got one of these, and then the MI2 adder. So this is just an MI2 with some machine gun strapped to it. I mean, paying 10 points for 4 machine guns is just not there, really. This should be 35. 4 PKT, wow. Anyway, Aufklärer, you've seen these guys everywhere, but they've got the Schwimmwagen MAV, so that's a new one for you, the Schwimmwagen. It is as fast as this, and it's sellable. So it's basically just the upgrade, the flat upgrade there, but it's only available on this division, and because it's got amphibious capability and it looks cooler. Everything else is the same. Or you could get the KPV, which is very useful. So we're going to be bringing the KPV. Motorised Aufklärer, because you'll notice that we don't have any forward deployed stuff. These guys are more useful in the opener because you upvet them once, and then you can get them to positions to hold ground. These are alright, very good optics, but the thing is, if you've got loads of tanks, this is sort of like a must-have, because it's got exceptional optics, and so that gives your tank exceptional optics. And if you want a recon helo, you can either have 4 of these that have very good optics and die in one hit 20 man-pad, or you can have 2 of these, which is more than twice the price, and will not die 20 man-pad. But it's more than twice the price. I'm going to get it. It's also got this jammer thing, which jams ground surveillance radar and stuff like that, and cancels corrected artillery fire in its area of effect, which is actually somewhat useful. It will you won't really notice that happening, but it is somewhat useful. And I tend not to need 4 of these, but it depends how many helicopters we get. Not that many, actually. So yeah, if I got loads of helicopters, I'd be bringing this one simply so I could YOLO it in and just use it to scout, and then rocket arty whatever. But yeah, this is probably the better one, especially with that 30% ECM, that 8 HP. AA tab. So between Strelas and Iglas, because Iglas is just so much better. They've got the extra range. Like if you max vet this, it still has less accuracy than this, and this has more range, which means that at the same range this has even more accuracy, so you got to bring the Iglas. You want to bring the Cubs, you want to bring between these two, this is just not good at all. You can use it against infantry, obviously can't do that with this, but this is actually pretty decent. It's actually really good for what it is, and you definitely don't need 7 of them, so there you go. Helitab, MI2 Earn. It's in 6th, right? You've seen this before in 6th. It's quite pricey for what it is. But it can be useful for helo, blob attack, whatever. Then you've got... Has this got a new camo? Could have swath. I feel like the camo here has changed. Between these two, obviously the Kokon is better, but this being 2 availability per card is great, but then you only get 2. And you will struggle, so maybe you do need the Earn simply for enemy breakthroughs. It's 60 points, I mean, but this is only 1 per card, and it costs you 2 AP. There was something back here I said I might be able to remove. Yeah, the 1 AP slot back here. I want to get rid of it, to tell you the truth. I want to get rid of this tank CV. Give me that 1 AP back, because I think I'm going to need it, because you can't go like this. That's a little bit better, but you needed to do that, really. And you've only got 3 helos. So now we've only got 4 points here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I get rid of something in this tab, then I've got an extra plane. Goodbye. Because now I've still got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 CVs, so whatever. Between these, there's no new planes here. This one's in Rugener, it's a rocket one. This one's in so many divs, it's a very, very good cluster plane. This one's a very good HE plane. They are pricey, but they're good. Like this will kill basically anything it hits. Then you've got a very good AT plane, and the fighters aren't fantastic, but they're not too bad either. Really, the fact that this is 2 per card is very silly, given that it's worse than this, and they literally cost the same. And one of them's just better. Basically, old Balance Man used to balance by division, and he hated KDA being playable, so he nerfed this loads because it was in KDA, and it also nerfed fourth, which is really strong anyway. So that's why this is overpriced and underappreciated. So you get this, but then you might need an extra card of fighters, but you probably don't because you've got Cubs. And you got 3 of these anyway, and then you get AT planes and a HE plane. That's probably good enough. There's no seed, sadly, but yeah, 4 AT planes means that whenever your tanks come up against anybody that hurts them, like an M1A1, just kill them. And the HE planes are great as well for soft target, and you can also. Well, I mean, I could get the cluster one, but honestly, the AT plane is just so good on this. This AT plane is so good. It's literally 45 points cheaper. I'm so glad he's gone, man. Anyways, that should, depending on which order I release this in, that should be the end of the NORTHAG showcases. I've showed every single division, and I thank you for watching them all. If you want to see games where these are played, you can check the links in the description. Channel members will get them immediately, but everybody else can wait. 1 or 2 of them will be members exclusive in the description. A boy's got to make a living, right? I'm going to be unemployed as of February 14th, 2025. So if you get the channel membership, you can watch all those games. Whichever div I've built, I've got a game where I've played every single one of those divs that I've built, for better or for worse, and I've learned things from it. Right, might adapt the deck after the game. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for sticking with this if you've watched it all the way through. And if you've just skipped to the last one, that's fine. That's why the timestamps are there, so you can do that. I really do appreciate you. Whatever, I'm just going to get soppy now.